It's the Bennington Show on a Thursday. Ron Bennington, Gail Bennington.
Yo.
You picked today's song, Gail, which...
The Vaselines.
You know, they did this show a couple years ago.
I know that.
They were very cool. And one of my favorite things they said that if they knew this stuff would have traveled, they would have worked harder on the lyrics. I laughed about that for a week. I thought it was the funniest thing. They just didn't know. You know, I mean, like, no one paid any attention to that thing. It was like bargain bin until Kurt picked it up.
Yeah.
And then what? Did he do 2 songs of theirs?
I think he did.
Yeah.
He did this one and like another. I can't remember what the other one
Smells
was.
like Teen Spirit.
That was them?
Yeah. Oh, they're good.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I always thought that was a funny thing that you just fuck around, I guess, with something.
Right.
And you just think of it as like local.
Yeah.
And people are still asking him about it. I'm like, I don't know.
This was really for my friends.
I don't even know why I said that. It seems kind of dumb now.
It's really stupid.
I don't know why anybody wants somebody for a sunbeam, but that's all I had. Last night was the greatest night in the history of not only the world, but basketball itself. The Golden State Social Justice Warriors become the winningest one-season team in the history of basketball. Some people believe you could just say, okay, that makes them the best team. This is a record that will not be broken in your lifetime if you're a human. And that was not the big story last night. Kobe dropping 60, going out Mamba style, all the stars in L.A. crying and shaking and jumping up and down like it was a revival. It was just a great night of basketball. Chris, you text me about the Social Justice Warrior. Nothing about Kobe. Did you miss it?
I was just watching the Warriors game, but I loved like every time there was a timeout. And now Kobe's put up 40 points, just giving up like quick. And they're like, they're calm, but it's like.
You know what's really funny? Started so slow. He went like 0 for 5. I'm sitting there like, man, I hate seeing a guy go out like this. This is sad, but that's Father Time. He's the oldest player ever to do 60 points in a game by like 5-6 years. The other one was 7'10" with still Chamberlain when he was 31. And this is the fact about Kobe. He can't even dunk anymore. I mean, he's so beat up. You see him look like he's going for a dunk, and he just has to push those extra 2-3 inches. So to see this, and I mean, he's just shooting every time to touch the ball. But it was a blast.
It was so insane.
It was a blast. And LA pulls all this. The only other, place is Madison Square Garden. And who knows the last time that they had a good team. That you get the celebs to really show up. And so every time he scores, you're just seeing another celebrity going crazy. It was actually fun TV. And, but Golden State, I mean, not only that, but Curry at 400 threes, that's just mind-boggling to me that he had a season like that. I mean, he had a season that you would arguably say is better than the team season.
Yeah, he's a ridiculous person. He's just breaking his own records.
He broke his record by like 30%. This is Beeman jumping out of the fucking pit in Mexico City. You don't break records that way, particularly when people like Ray Allen and, previously had the records before him. There's guys that were unbelievable 3-point shooters that he's just left. It's just, it's phenomenal. But, that game itself was not, the Lakers game was not a regular game. It was kind of a summer league, rec ball thing. But you sending the guy out who's played on the same team 20 years, Delco boy, probably be, now that he has time, will be in all next season's Delco proper. Hopefully Lower Marion kid. So, is it a serious 60? Should it be measured against, the 60s from his past? The point of the matter is it happened. He could have went out there and shot all night and scored fucking 15 or 20 like he's done the rest of the season. everything in the second half was just falling.
He had a terrible season. All anyone ever talked about was how, beat down he is.
Yeah, he had a terrible season because he doesn't have it anymore. I mean, he hasn't had it for the last couple of years. His body gave out.
But was his season compared to his past seasons, or was like a terrible season for anybody?
For him,
Yeah.
no. It's just a guy whose body no longer works. But since he was going around, doing goodbye shows everywhere, because everybody in the league wanted to come out and say goodbye to Kobe, every city, they let him out there and shoot. I mean, when he was in Philly, his hometown, it was an embarrassing night of shooting, and the place was still going crazy, and just happy to see him. People were taking their kids to say, look, take a look at this guy. But, you kind of passed that torch. Steph Curry is unfucking believable. This guy shoots 5-10 feet on the other side of the line on the regs, just for no fucking apparent reason.
We've never seen anything like this before. It's a freak show out there. I mean, the guy's just ridiculous.
Beautifully put, Chris.
Thank you.
We've never seen anything like this before. This guy's a freak show. And then what was your last line?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. There it is. Do me a favor, put that in our press release and send it out. By the way, more big news in Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors. They made big trades, and they got the fucking first draft choice, which, they fucking threw a bunch of fucking their future way on it. But I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Los Angeles exciting, and, it's kind of working. I mean, everybody's talking about it today. So, Los Angeles, center of the sports universe. Now, let me ask you this, Chris, because you're the guy who gave it fucking ridiculous and freak show.
Yeah.
The 73 wins. Does it mean shit if they don't win it all?
Nope. It doesn't mean, and he has to go get another championship. That's all has to happen.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. It's not like it's professional football. There's certain things that mean something and will stay around for a long time. I mean, yes, they're going to want this to have a perfect season. I mean, the great season. But it's not like what Tom Brady and the Patriots went through with that undefeated season. I don't think people put that kind of stress on any other sport the way they do the Super Bowl. Joe, I see you nodding.
Well, I think compared to the Bulls, they were the greatest team of all time because they won the championship. And if the Warriors want to be the best team ever, they have to win.
They're still not going to be considered the best team ever if they win that championship. They're not. You can say they had the most wins in the season, but they're certainly not what you would say is the greatest team of all time. You just can't prove that. You just can't. And I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, this team is better than the Chicago fucking Bulls of the 90s. I don't think a human being
I don't think
would
any
say that.
team could have that type of...
Well, there was a mythology there, and years take place for that. And what you're going to need is probably the people who saw Michael Jordan to die, because, the Boston Celtics had way more wins than the fucking Jordan Bulls. But enough people died so that team isn't coming up all the time.
Right.
A lot of people say these 67 76ers, who were the only team to break up that Celtics thing, were the greatest team of all time. You just sit around and argue those things, but there's no definitive greatest team of all time. All you got is the most wins in a season, and I don't see that being broken. I didn't think anybody would beat the Bulls. It's fucking impossible.
The Bulls were not the most wins during that time?
They were, yes.
They were.
That's the record that was beat last night. And like I said, people who grew up during that time are more apt to say greatest team of all time than the people who were around in the 1960s and saw the Celtics or the fucking Lakers team in the early 70s or the Knicks team in the 70s. There was a lot of, there was a lot of great basketball.
But whatever that team is when you're in your youth is probably what you end up hanging on to. Because in my mind, the Bulls were why basketball was the 90s. Like that, I think that's why it was the sport of the 90s.
Right. Well, I saw Dr. J play, and the difference between Dr. J and Michael Jordan is like no one was even doing any of that shit before Dr. J. So that was fucking crazy. That was literally a black swan moment. We've never seen this before. Michael Jordan, you know, was unbelievable, and I saw him play in the 90s. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like Steph Curry in my life. I've never seen a shooter like that in my life. So, I mean, these are the reasons that people punch each other in bars. You get into these things back and forth. I don't know. It was just a great night. What are you going to do about it? You have a very fun night like that. You might as well enjoy them when you get. Here's our old buddy G-Man. G-Man.
Oh, how about it?
Hey.
Hey, Ronnie, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine this morning, big basketball fan. We were talking awesome story that Black Mamba scored 60 on his last night. Makes a great fucking sports story. To take away from the fact that he shot 50 times?
No, because that's what he was there to do. That's why everybody showed up to see him shoot 50 times. Guess what? Any other player can do that any night that they want to. You know what I mean? Anyone who makes it 20 years in the league can go out and shoot 50 times. Chances of them scoring 60, not good. Not good. I mean, I think that was only like his sixth 60-plus game in his entire career. And this guy's been fucking Gunnar Hetland from word back. Gunnar was a guy in my neighborhood, and don't pass the ball to him. Had 2 silver front teeth.
Oh, that's cool.
Just shot the whole fucking time. Just shot.
No assists?
And literally, I mean, when you're fucking... No assists. No one's going to see the ball again. But when your nickname becomes Gunnar, and it fucking stays that way, you know, you got to look into the mirror and start saying, you know...
Better look at those silver teeth.
I think he got him knocked out in a fucking basketball game, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I think somebody's head went into his fucking teeth, ended up with 2 fucking silver teeth. I guess because he was little and they couldn't put, you know, fake teeth in at the time. I don't know what the fuck it was. I know this. It didn't improve his dating fucking life. Here is Gordon, South Carolina.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey.
I was just thinking, you know, listening to you discuss the greatest team of all time, I think it's difficult in any sport to really pin down what the greatest team of all time would be because the game's evolved so much. You know, you look at the Oilers in the 80s with Gretzky and Messier and all those guys, it was arguable that they could be the greatest team of all time in hockey. But the game was so different then, you know, how would they do now? We don't know. So I would argue it may be the greatest team of an era, but it's really difficult to pin down the greatest team of all time.
You know what? I think that's true, but these things are always just opinions since they won't play against each other. You know what I mean? And Pippen came out not too long ago and said, we'd sweep these fucking guys. Well, there's no way to fucking prove it. Right. You know what I mean? You could say shit. It doesn't matter whether he said we'd sweep them or we'd get swept. Who gives a shit? I remember in the 80s and 90s, the retired football players were saying, of course Marino can fucking throw like that. Look how pussy the game is now. The quarterbacks are so pampered. Now you go back and watch those 80s games and you're like, God damn, they were fucking roughhousing. But at the time it seemed pussy because the guys in the 60s were basically in a fist fight. Right. For 4 quarters. So yeah, you don't know what Johnny Unitas would do today or whatever. I mean, obviously, Peyton had a longer career than he would have because he was more protected, but does that take away from him?
Do you think that football has changed the most of any sport as far as the rules or the way the game is played?
You know, I got to tell you, nothing. I don't know if any sport changes as much as the 3-point fucking shot because literally the big man game is gone. And when I grew up, it was all about getting the ball under the basket to some enormous man and having him score from there. So that's gigantically. The DH in baseball kind of ruined the sport, in my opinion, as much as the drugs did.
When did that start?
Well, it only started in half the league. The shitty fucking, what was that, late 70s for?
Yeah, for the American League.
for the American League, and they stopped being baseball players at that point. They said, we no longer want to play the sport of baseball. We're going to play we'll call it fake baseball, where pitchers don't have to fucking hit.
No reason.
And we'll act like it's even. Well, the reason is, are you a player or not? There's a fucking gigantic reason. It changes the way that the game is coached. Everything about it. When you go to a Mets game, congratulations on the win. I hope you feel better about it, Vito. You're saying baseball. When you're going over to Yankee Stadium, you're seeing some kind of show that people put on. I don't know exactly what you would call it. It's definitely baseball-like. It reminds me of baseball. But when the coaches don't have to sit around, when a guy can fucking throw at somebody without ever worrying about coming up to the plate himself, totally changes the game. Here's Jake. Jake, Nashville. What's up, buddy?
Hey, dude. I was watching the game last night with my dad, and you kind of made the point I was going to make. I mean, back in the day, on a fast break, some guy pulls up from 23 and shoots it. He's a prick. But this kid has changed basketball. I mean, and up until him, you didn't have to guard anybody till they got to the three-point line. You better guard this dude when he hits half court. I mean, it's amazing.
You are exactly right. I mean, you used to watch guys making sure that their toes were right there on the fucking line. This kid will fucking shoot 6, 7 feet before he gets to it. And
make them.
Yeah, and make them. And that would be the guy that you would yell for years, what the fuck are you doing? You got 4 other guys out there. But now everybody's like, shoot it. Shoot it. Yeah. Shoot the fucking lights out, bitch. He's unbelievable.
I was sitting there with my jaw on the ground, like, one after the other, like, no fucking way. And bam. You know, it's insane, man.
All right. Peace.
Appreciate it. See you.
It's the Bennington Show on a Thursday. Our buddy Open Mike Eagle stopping in at 2 today. He's got a big album out.
Yeah, it's Hella Personal Film Festival, and it is an excellent album. I love it. So phenomenal. I've been listening to it nonstop. I love it.
It's I'm so happy to see him get this success because he's like such a great guy. But the fact that he's, every album keeps doing better for him is unbelievably cool. Here's Barry in Toronto. Barry.
Hello, Ron.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call. I've got two questions for you because I want to know what you think about this. I mean, obviously there's a dichotomy between the fans and the players and what they're doing, and then the people who are driving the sports themselves, the owners. How would you think about judging the success of the franchises in their periods by the economic offshoots that are produced through their playing and the teams? Because there's a lot of money, and I think that's how the owners are judging it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it is a business, but see, here's something, because I played Dream Week baseball with guys who played in the 60s and 70s. They were our coaches. The guys in the 60s, and if you think of all the great ball players who played in the 1950s and 60s, in the off season, they had to have regular jobs. So, I mean, I'm there with Johnny Callison, and in the winter, he would be a bartender working at a fucking bar, making drinks for Phillies fans.
It's insane. It's so crazy to think.
Pete Rose sold cards. Pete Rose worked in the off season in the 60s. So he was a car salesman. And I mean, these are real stories. The other thing that's changed is conditioning changed so much, and every sport became a year-long sport. And I remember being a kid, like, reading that somebody came back 40 pounds overweight. Like somebody would show up in spring training and just be fat as shit, and everybody be yelling at him, and he'd be running around. And now you don't leave. You're working at that training camp all year long, which kind of changes the game, and changes the way you think about people and the way the person thinks about the sport. He's not playing for joy like they did somewhat in the old days. They're not playing because they it's just fun to them. They're like, I gotta fucking make this money now.
And I'm sure that also changes the way that fans view the sport.
Absolutely.
The fact that, I mean, it's how you have fans who are thinking about baseball or thinking about football or whatever that sport is every single day of the year. And
who's the highest paid baseball player right now?
I believe it's you don't know.
I think it's Giancarlo Stanton.
And how much money does he make?
It's like a 10-year deal where he's getting over like 150.
Now,
over 150.
Here's the thing.
Or something.
So that's like, 15 something million dollars a year?
More than that.
You just said 10 years at 150. So that would be fucking 10 million a year. It doesn't make him 10 times better than if you were paying him $1 million a year. You know what I mean? Like, you play the way you play, but people get angrier because you're paid more.
Right.
You know, they're just fucking furious. And you're just like, but you're still going to hit.
Right. It's still your physical ability. It's not like you get a raise and you're like, I'm really going to step it up. I'm going to be way physically better than I'm capable of being.
Here's our buddy Bill in Jersey. Bill.
Hey, my buddy. How's it going, Ronnie B?
Well, I know you probably want to talk Flyers, and you just lost your owner recently.
It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. And Mr. Snyder was a class act all the way around. What can you say?
Yeah.
That's what you can say about the man. But I'm going to go with hockey as the most changed sport over the past decade or two with the elimination of the blue line. You got two-line passes now. They had to go behind the goal, and they put in that little triangle because guys like Brodeur would come out and clear the puck, so they had to change it for that.
Yeah.
Brodeur was so good they made the goalie pads smaller so they could score more goals. You took overtime and went from a 4-man overtime to a 3-man. You introduced the penalty shot. It was just it's amazing the change, and then the concussions. You got rid of the line brawls, and guys like Lindros had a guy on his back the whole game going after his head. Today, you would never see that.
Yeah, it's a completely changed game, and it still has that lightning speed, and it's exciting. And I also think taking the sport away from Canada and putting it down south makes it a totally different game. It's very strange to see that.
This is the first year, I think they said in like 20 or 30 years, that there's not one Canadian team in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's really, really bizarre.
Hey, let's go Flyers, baby. I'm all fired up, Ronnie.
I know you are, man. All right, best of luck to you, Bill. Peace. Here is Dave, San Fran.
Ronnie, Vito, what the hell? Hey, Ronnie, we'll get back to Stanton. They're talking about Bryce Harper. When he's a free agent, they say he might make $500 million.
So who'll make that?
Stan,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Ronnie. Stan makes $300 million for 10 years, buddy.
Right.
I remember Canseco. He was the first one to break the $10 million mark, and that was big. That was a huge deal to say $10 million in 1 year. Ricky Anderson, the same thing. But imagine how it's progressed from that, the guy working behind a bartender, serving drinks, to fucking $500 million.
Now, here's the other thing. You watch these guys play, and you'll see the highlights every day. There's fucking so many empty seats.
Yeah,
so
Ronnie.
many empty seats.
Another thing is, what do you think about all these rule changes about sliding into second base, this and that?
Yeah,
sliding home plate.
Well, here's the deal. Rules. If you're paying a guy $300 million or $500 million, you can't afford to have him get hurt.
What's the big change that they're like getting more? Like they don't want them sliding in more.
Yeah, they don't want plays at the plate. They don't want you to take out the second baseman. And like literally, this is stuff that we learn in Little League. You gotta take out the catcher. You gotta break up fucking two.
Run hard.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh. Okay, so we don't.
Like a play at the plate was like so fucking exciting. Like, what's going to happen? How hard are you going to hit this fucking dude?
Yeah.
No more.
I mean, there would be plays at the plate in softball games. I mean, that was just part of the game. But, they want to protect everybody. I get it. You don't want to be some kind of animal talking about, I don't give a fuck who gets a concussion. But it goes back to our initial thing. How do you compare? Joe was so quick to act like if Golden State wins the championship, they suddenly become the greatest team of all time. I would say a minority of people would agree with that. A minority of people would think suddenly you get this banner of the greatest of all time. First of all, if you go back and watch the Knicks team that won, you fucking turn around and look at the other teams. It looked like they were playing all-star teams every weekend. There was so few teams that all the players were great. Now there's so many teams that, you show up and you could be playing the fucking 76ers today. Why should your record count against the fucking a city that isn't even trying to put up a ball club? It's unbelievable. Here's Andrew in Nebraska.
My old man played in the NFL in the early 80s and came out of Nebraska where they were big on weightlifting and, being in shape all the time. So my dad is in the weight room at the San Diego Chargers and he's lifting and trying to, maintain fitness. And Dan Fouts comes over to him in a towel about to go to the sauna with a cigar and a scotch in his hand. He goes, "What are you doing, Matheson? What are you doing, rookie?" And him and the second string guy are about to go take a hot air bath. So I just thought that was funny about, even the early 80s, they weren't really exercising.
Oh, no. There was, you just brought up Bryce Harper. That guy's fucking jacked. Go back and look at ball players like in the 60s and 70s, and they were like thin dudes. They weren't lifting weights. They thought it was kind of bad for you. But then if you even go back and watch the Plimpton stuff, like Paper Lion, you would just see the Detroit Lions, and they would just be eating fucking fried chicken in between practices, just like have big bowls. Like, have all the fried chicken you want, boys. It's part of your deal. Just giant bowls of fried chicken.
And they were all smoking, too. It was ridiculous. It was awesome.
You would see dudes smoking in the dugout. Somebody was smoking on the football field. I can't think who it is. As late as the late 60s, it was a quarterback that they caught. I'm not caught. He was fucking sitting there. I was like, fuck, I'm so exhausted. I'm just going to line up and try to relax a little bit.
Smoke.
Yeah.
You're killing me out there.
Rich, FLA.
Hey, guys and girls. How about, I remember back when they didn't have a shot clock in college basketball, watching the four corners done by North Carolina versus Maryland.
You could end up in 10-8 games all the time back then where they would just try to keep the ball. It was fucking ridiculous.
Basketball. Right.
I'll tell you the sport that maybe has changed more than anything I ever saw in my life, and that's women's basketball. I mean, women's basketball was something that people didn't watch because it was just something that some girls were doing for fun after, a couple of tomboys are out there. Right. You would barely see them taking it to hoop. Just they would be a lot of passing and then
chest passing.
Yeah, a lot of chest passing, and then somebody would take a shot. And now, if you watch that game, it's phenomenal. The level of basketball that's going on. College basketball, huge draw now.
Yeah.
Gigantic draw. Look at the women's soccer team. People are going crazy for that. So, what are you supposed to measure that against? Do you measure the fact that guys and girls now have conditioning that they never had in the old days? That, the old Packers were drunk the night before the Super Bowl. They were fucking loaded. And that went on into the 80s. Right. I know the Raiders were fucking drunk during their Super Bowl wins. Matuzak was out till like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Before the Super Bowl.
Well, even what some people call the greatest team of all time with Jim McMahon was out that whole fucking week getting loaded. And, getting like an hour and a half sleep before the fucking practice and shit. Because, hey, it's the Super Bowl. You might as well enjoy yourself. Let's have some fun.
It's a celebration.
Hey, Steve Jordan is here. Great drummer. And he's got the 25th annual Jazz Loft Party happening Saturday, April 16th, 6 o'clock. We got him here?
We got him, yeah.
Well, let's just bring him in instead of doing it our way. 6 o'clock at the Hudson Studios in New York City. One of the great drummers of all time. Drummed with Clapton, the Blues Brothers, Keith Richards. The list goes on and on. He was, I think, the original drummer for the Letterman Show. He's just fantastic. Let's bring in Steve Jordan.
He deserved it. 60 points.
It was amazing.
Incredible.
Steve Jordan in studio with us, and we'll get to his stuff, but we were just talking about the watching Kobe last night.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And you were saying to me, you thought he stole the thunder from Golden State, and I agree because it was in L.A., every shot he hits, you see Jack Nicholson jump in the air, you see Kanye. I mean, it was a big-time show besides...
Not that I cared about Kanye jumping up and down. Don't get me, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not where I'm going with this. But, wow. Yeah. Incredible performance. That's the way you want to go out. Yeah. Nobody's going to break that record. Nobody's going to play their last game and score 60 points, okay?
So that's 37 years old. The only other person who's ever done it in their 30s is Wilt, and he was like 31, 32. So they're like, there's a 5-year difference. And the fact Wilt was Wilt back in those days when nobody was close to his size or power.
Like he'd just stand next to the basket and just drop the ball and, scored 100 points on my beloved Knicks.
But do you think it was just the adrenaline of the last game, and what do you think made him perform at that level?
The thing that makes you Kobe makes you go, the whole year I've been hurt and I'm shooting bad, but I'm going out like a champion. That's what it's about. Some dudes want to put it on their back. You know what I mean?
It reminded me, as I was saying off air, of Derek Jeter's last game.
Right.
That last week of his career. You know, I was at the stadium when he, game-winning hit, the whole thing. The season is a wash, but he wins. Not only does he score 60 points, but they win. He brought the team back to win the game. They were losing that game to a team that had just been eliminated from the playoffs.
Right.
The Jazz, they could have gotten in, and, scoreboard watching, they lose, they're out. They're a little bummed. They could have, but you're a professional athlete. You got to go out and play. And so they played basically virtually a playoff team. And he won that game by himself. It was a Michael Jordan type of performance, quite frankly.
It really was. And in the world of music, some guys, they just decide, I'm going to be Mick Jagger. I'm going to be James Brown. I'm going to go big at the big shows. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some people just love that spotlight, or they decide, no, I'm not giving in the pressure. I'm putting the pressure on. There's some people just bigger than life. Kobe was one of those. Yeah. One of those guys.
Absolutely. Incredible. Incredible performance. And third quarter, as we say, we knew the Warriors were going to win. So okay, let's see what Kobe's doing. And wow. Yeah. I'm glad I had my direct TV with the two being in.
Yeah. It was an amazing thing that you're like, there's Kobe, his career is ending, he's going out this way, and there's Steph Curry, who's just shooting the lights out all season, and you got these dudes that are just in some ways bigger than the game, bigger than a game, and that's why you want to watch sports.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about that with music. There's performers that will go out and say, I mean, you've played with some of the greatest people of all time.
Absolutely, yeah. And, and it's thrilling.
Yeah.
It's thrilling when you know that you're in the presence of that thing.
Right.
And it's happening, and you're there, and you go, wow.
Yeah.
This is really wild. I always have an amazing, thrilling time when I'm playing with the Verbs. I know it's very special. On nights with, say, for instance, the last Crossroads, Eric Clapton plays a guitar solo on a tune. I think Andy Fairweather Lowe does a tune, and then, Eric takes a solo. it's like one of the best solos he's ever played in his life. And when we're playing, and we know it's one of the best things I've ever heard, and it's like, whoa, incredible. One of those nights with Keith in the Winos, and he's doing, and he's feeling it. And, when he's feeling it, it's like it's a special thing, Yeah, it's incredible. I've been very fortunate. I think the most incredible performance I've ever been involved in, actually on television, and the person told me so, was when James Brown played on the David Letterman show in 1982.
Right.
And that, for me, it was all downhill from there on the show. Because that was it. You could not get any better. So I'm like, okay, this is like the first season. Geez. I'm
And that was that thing that James Brown had, that famous 64 show with the Stones.
The Tammy show.
Yeah.
Well, he told me after that show, because I visited him in the dressing room afterwards, and I went backstage to get his autograph, and he was sitting under a hairdryer. Al Sharpton was behind him. It was the first time I met Al Sharpton. Al used to do his hair. This is the whole thing, right? And he's sitting, he's got the crown on his head. It's like the hairdryer, it's like unbelievable. And he jumps up from the hairdryer, and he grabs me and he says, brother, you're high. And I'm like, I'm saying to myself, no, I'm not. Really, I promise. And he said, your energy is high. This is the best show I've done in front of cameras since the Tammy show.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And I will never forget that quote and that feeling, because what? Really?
Yeah.
Really. And I knew what he meant, even though with the great JBs and the Famous Flames and all the great versions of the JBs that have been out, that have done great television shows. I think what he meant was the spontaneity, because he was blown away that our band, the world's most dangerous band, was up in his thing.
Yeah.
And he was shocked by it, because he figured, okay, you do this show. He never really heard of David Letterman. It was a little hot. It was a hot thing, a lot of, excitement about the show, and he basically took the show over. We did Sex Machine. He got so blown away that he literally took the show over. We did There Was a Time, and then we did I Got the Feeling. He just took everybody got bumped. It was like crazy. And he just went, and so what he meant was he did some scat singing. He ran over to the piano. He did all kinds of stuff. It was complete. There were moments of improvisation that he was like a jazz musician, and that was the thing, and like when he plays organ, when he plays piano, he's always wanted to be, and always has been, not wanted to be, he was a great band leader, and all the great band leaders, they take their cue from great jazz musicians, all the great big bands, whether it's a Count Basie band or the Duke Ellington band or Cab Calloway's band or Lionel Hampton's band or Artie Shaw's band or Harry James's band. And then later on, Quincy Jones, when he was arranging for Count Basie's band, and they're all, Louis Jordan, you name it, all these great jazz band leaders, and that's what James Brown wanted to be, and so we gave him the freedom for him to stretch out with a band he had never played with before, and he was in shock. And if you Google that performance, James Brown, 1982, Willie on bass, Hiram Bullock on guitar, obviously Paul Schaefer, and he had Holly Ferris on trumpet, his trumpet player, and St. Clair Pinckney on saxophone. And it's an incredible performance.
Well, this is the thing, too. And at that time, we had never seen a band with a talk show like that before. You had the Tonight Show band, and these were professional musicians that would sit there with sheet music, and it was kind of like your dad's era of bands.
Great band, Ed Shaughnessy.
Yeah. But it was just a different style where people could come on and literally do rock and roll on a talk show. Really,
we were the first. We were the first.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of modeled themselves after our band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is now, of course, you expect it when you see the Roots or whatever. It's great, but it'll never be that shocking.
Right.
Again, it was
Absolutely.
like literally
It was first.
shocking because there was a way to do a talk show, and Dave did it just totally differently. And then there was a way to present music on late night TV, and it was done just totally differently.
Absolutely.
This thing that you were doing with
the Jazz Foundation of America.
That's Saturday, April 16th. 6 p.m. at the Hudson Studios in New York City. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, Megan and I are now the new directors of special events and development for the Jazz Foundation of America. It's been in existence for 25 years. It's an amazing foundation. This organization does such great work. It takes care of musicians in need, not just jazz musicians, blues, whatever. All over, because musicians, we don't create genres. Mm-hmm. Business does. Marketing does. We play music. At any rate, it comes to pass every now and then people fall upon hard times, for whatever reason, whether disease, injury, whatever, not getting their royalties because everybody's listening to Spotify, so nobody's getting any money.
Right.
All that stuff. And we are there to fill that gap when somebody needs their mortgage paid or some groceries or needs to go to a doctor. The Jazz Foundation is there for these people. We have an association with Inglewood Medical Center. Dr. Frank Forte is our champion. So we can take musicians there for free health care. We handle 20 to 30 cases a day. We have over 5,000 cases that we handle, individual people who are in need. And there's not a lot of red tape. You make the call. You call 212-245-3999. You call in, and if you need some help, we can try to help you. We have an amazing staff, great people. Wendy Oxenhorn is the executive director of the organization. She is like, her passion for musicians and what they deserve is unparalleled. We have a new deputy, director in Joe Petrocelli. We have great people, president of the organization, Jarrett Lillian. A list goes on and on of great people. Lisa Haskins is the lead social worker. And we have a great board. We have a board, right, that is not just in name, okay? A lot of these boards, you read the board and like all these famous people and they don't know anything about. But like the chairman of our board is Dick Parsons, and he's active. Quincy Jones, he's active. Danny Glover, Mike and Suki Novogratz. I mean, we have people who are active on our board, and that really means a lot to us, and they help us get a lot done. So it's really an amazing organization, and we do 3 fundraisers a year. We do a dinner, a Time Warner dinner that Dick hosts, and that's for the big donors because we need money. That's basically it. Then we have this loft party, which was actually the very first thing that we did 25 years ago. And then it's gone into this multi-room thing with music in each room. And it's really cool. It's like, it's like kind of a modern day, back in the day type of vibe. It's fantastic, right? And then we have our gala, our Great Night in Harlem. Now, last Great Night in Harlem, last October, we gave Sonny Rollins, the one and only Sonny Rollins, a Lifetime Achievement Award, and everybody came out for him. And we also gave the very first Clark Terry Award for Courage to Mary Clayton. As we know, the great Mary Clayton, here again, had a tragic accident. A lot of people don't know because we kept it on, out of the press, but she had a car accident in which she lost her legs, but she did not lose her voice.
That's amazing.
And so to pay tribute to her and her recovery, we we gave her the award. I actually filmed the presentation while I was in California because that's where she lives. And of course, we had great people paying tribute to her. Renee Fleming, Valerie Simpson, Sarah Dash and Nona Hendricks, and we had Keith Richards. And I got the winos back together, and we did Gimme Shelter, and Lisa Fisher and Bernard Fowler joined us with Sarah, and we so it was just amazing. And so next October, this coming October, we're going to have another special event. It's going to be quite fantastic. But this one, this weekend is very cool. We have the Preservation Hall Jazz Band playing in one room. And we're also going to do a little tribute to our friend, the late, great David Bowie. Now, a lot of people don't really realize it, but, if you look back through David's discography, when he came to New York, it was a very R&B based situation. And when I was in high school, I ended up knowing a lot of the guys in the band. The very first session I ever did in my life was with Carlos Alomar. It was the guitar player, Michael Cimbello from Stevie Wonder's band, and Nathan Watts, who had just joined Stevie Wonder's band. And so I've known Carlos since I was a kid, and his wonderful wife was a great singer, Robin Clark. They were with David, obviously Carlos being co-writer of Fame, as we all know. And, Robin brought in Luther, who I knew. We all lived around in the same kind of, George Murray, who was a bass player at the time, lived right next door to me. Luther lived down the block. Carlos and Robin lived up on 57th Street on the same floor as David, and I would play hooky from school over at their place and everything. So I decided, okay, Wendy wanted to do a little tribute to David because we're all David Bowie fans, whatever kind of music you like, And I said, well, why don't we get some of the original New York band, because this here again, the tie-in is rhythm and blues, jazz, whatever, whatever you want to call it. And, look, David played saxophone, you know what I mean? So there is a correlation there. It's not just, we're not just, doing something. We go, oh yeah, David Bowie, it's like, no. So we got Carlos, we got America San, who played bass on Fame. We have Frank and George Sims, the Sims brothers. We got Robin, of course. We got the great Earl Slick. We got, the Cats, and Mark Rebo is going to join us. We all know him from, Tom Waits' the great records he's made with Tom. And Bernard Fowler is going to join us on this as well. We have Stan Harrison and Steve Elson, the horn players who did the Serious Moonlight Tour. We have people who played with David. And the other thing that we're going to do as well is do a little shout out to the great Dennis Davis, who played drums on Fame and some of that other great material, who just passed away just last week. And part of the thing that the Jazz Foundation was going to do was to raise money for his medical and so on and so forth. And now we're just going to pay tribute to him and make sure his family is set up and all good.
Well, when you get that many players together, how long does it take you to make it gel? Because that's the thing that you got to worry about, right? That
I don't worry. See, I don't worry about that. This is very funny. Like, anytime I do any kind of musical direction, when I'm doing the Emmys, for instance, I've done the Emmys for the last five of the last 6 years, I just hire all the best people that are available. Like, basically, I hire a bunch of other musical directors. And then I have no problems, and I have no problem doing that. I mean, I think some people, may be a little nervous about that because they think, well, maybe they might not have a job at the end of the day or so. I don't know. I just think it's the smartest thing to do, to hire the best people that and they're all friends. So it's just a wonderful thing. We all have a bunch of fun. There's no stress. This event that we're doing is a very stress-free event. And that's how you make the best music. You know, if you're trying to, you know, be some type of taskmaster or something like that, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You just try to be a host, make sure everybody's got what they need, and let's do it.
And the main thing is, like, when I rehearse with anything, I'm always playing like it's the show. You don't walk through something, you know what I mean? You know, like, okay, we're playing now. Let's play, because what a blessing it is to be able to play. And how much fun is it? You know, you get, I mean, I'm sitting down and be playing Fame. I didn't play on the record, but I certainly listened to it a million times. Sure. And I always, oh man, Dennis Davis is laying his groove down, you know, and he was an influence. So I can't wait to play that song with the guys who actually made that record. You know, how much fun is that?
Well, it was an amazing thing too in his career that nobody saw coming. This guy was doing glam rock, and then he swings in, he's checking out Philly International because he loves those records. And when that came out, to see Bowie on Soul Train and stuff was just
Wasn't that
nuts.
Cool? Was that the coolest thing?
Crazy. And like, you would turn around and go, all right, is anyone going to get pissed at this? Like, you're looking into the audience and everybody was just, you know, loving it and having a great time with it.
Absolutely, because it was great.
Yeah.
See, if it wasn't great, then you'd have a problem.
Right.
Right? It's really that simple. So the same principle applies here.
Well, Quincy is a great example of the kind of music that he started doing and then what he ended up doing, you know, in the later years. It seems like...
Well, he's the perfect example as well for other reasons, because not only was he a great arranger, and we all know that he was, you know, classically trained and blah, 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 which Megan and I are classically trained as well. I mean, that's really helps with your discipline. But it's not only that. I mean, you know, back in the day when you used to go to school, you know, like, you remember went to school, you had to either play the clarinet or violin. I mean, it was mandatory. We had that in the budget. Now, of course, you know, federal government has cut all music programs and art and everything like that, so you don't have that opportunity. But that's what used to happen. So you have Quincy who, you know, had the training, and then, you know, he's around Count Basie and he's doing all that and he's working with the Rat Pack and everything. But then you get, a lot of people may not know, but then he ends up being like, the president or A&R of A&R at Mercury Records. He's making Leslie Gore records.
Right.
Those records are great. Great records. Now, this is supposed to be like a jazz musician, right? And he's like making great pop records for Leslie Gore. Those were some of the best records with a great singer. Leslie Gore was a great singer. So this, here again, for people who get like kind of freaked out by like the word jazz, you know, I mean, you know, it's okay. You know, it's like, we're all right. You know, you know what I'm saying? You know, you know, like all the musicians that played on all those great Motown records, they were all quote unquote jazz musicians. They used to play at a club. They didn't even know what they were doing in the day. The day gig was like they got $50 a day to go into Motown to make #1 records all day long. They had no idea that they were making #1 records all day long. They probably would have wanted more than $50 a day. Yeah. But their thing was to go, and they couldn't wait to play that club that night.
That would be fun for them.
That was the fun. Yeah. They made more money, first of all, at the club. But that was the when they got to stretch out. Then they used those ideas the next day when they went into the studio. And hey, remember that thing we were playing last night on that thing when we hit that solo behind? Yeah, maybe we'll work that into the chorus of this thing. Next thing you know, they're making another #1 record on a little jazz idea they had the night before. So that's, you know, that's the beauty of music. That's the beauty of jazz. Jazz is based on improvisation, right? So you come up with stuff and you come up with ideas, the freedom to play. That's what jazz is, you know, and so that's why it's a real profound pleasure to be associated with the Jazz Foundation of America and this family. These people are so passionate about helping musicians in need. And we just don't help just quote unquote jazz musicians. We help all musicians.
It's always amazing to me to hear that you've been doing this since high school. That's the crazy part of the story.
Yeah, well, that happens because we're in the great city of New York.
Right.
You know, I mean, going to Music and Art High School, Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School, surrounded by incredible talent. I mean, there were a lot of people way better than me in that school. I had to come up with my own thing and, you know, go underground to keep my thing, you know, keep me going, you know, try to, you know, because if I had looked around too much, you know, I probably would have thrown in the towel. There was, you know, in fact, just in New York in general, in my neighborhood in the Bronx, there were so many bad freaking players, man, you know, it was like, whoa, it was incredible, you know, and that's the environment of New York. Everybody is so good that you just have to keep working, you know, and then, you know, the passion for music that I was born with. There's no doubt about it. I've been listening to records since I was 2 years old, collecting records. My parents were so supportive. They gave me a record player. They bought records that I liked before I could even read. I was operating a record player and stuff. And so that, you know, that was helpful. But just being in New York, you know, playing with all these great players.
Any one scene that you ever liked? I know that you did that, you produced that Boz album, Memphis, which to me was always one of the great scenes that's ever happened. But has there ever been like a time and a place where you've gone, oh, I wish I was part of that? You know, I wish I was there when that was happening.
Well, you know what? I'm very fortunate where the time I was born, I'm kind of in between. I've just got the tail end of some of the great stuff so I could actually witness how certain things were recorded and the process. Cause I'm like, I live in like, I'm an analog person in a digital world. So I know what that was like. So I try to keep those qualities and principles alive in this era, you know, and that's what helps me in making a Boz Scaggs record. You know, like the Memphis record is a very, you know, it's a wonderfully authentic record, but it's not a retro record. It is a vital record that is now, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, make some kind of, I'm not into like you know, making retro records, you know, I just try to keep those sensibilities that I like. If you listen to an Al Green record, the great Willie Mitchell, who we're actually making a documentary on right now. If you listen to an Al Green record, it sounds as fresh, if not better than any record that you will hear today.
Yeah.
Because he was a great engineer, a great arranger, and so that's, those things are timeless. I just try to make timeless recordings. Mark Ronson, his new record, they went to Memphis because they heard the Boz Scaggs record.
Is that right?
Yeah, Mark heard the Boz Scaggs record, called me, he said, hey, where'd you make that record? You know, and I said, we made it at Royal. So Mark Ronson's record, this Grammy Award super record was done at Royal Studios, Willie Mitchell's studio in Memphis.
Because that's the same board and everything.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same board, but it is a very old board, and it's the same room with the same treatment that Willie Mitchell worked on for years. We have the drums in the same spot. Everything is the same. You know, the leaking and the roof is the same, you know, the whole thing, the air conditioning, the whole thing, you know, everything is basically the same. And they have that microphone that Al Green sang through and the whole thing, it's all there. And Boo Mitchell, Willie's grandson, who now runs the studio, is doing just a fantastic job. And he was very active in working with Mark on that record.
You could go see Steve Jordan on the 25th Annual Jazz Loft Party. It's happening Saturday, April 16th, 6 o'clock at the Hudson Studios in New York City. All kinds of great people there. Go to jazzfoundation.org. And the Verbs are going to be...
Well, we're making our fourth album right now, Garage Sale. And we're very excited about it. This thing, it's really good. I'm very happy about it. It's very exciting. So yeah, we're in the process of doing that now. I also want to say about this event coming up is not only obviously do we need money, the foundation, to help all the people, but we also have other fundraising components. So even though the tickets are very expensive to go to this thing, it starts at 6 p.m. and it ends at midnight. Tickets are like anywhere from $350 to $500, but you're going to get special guests like T-Bone Burnett is going to show up, Sarah Dash, we got some cool things, happening. But there's also a really cool fundraising component where we're doing an auction of some special things. So basically Gibson made us a one-of-a-kind 12-string guitar to commemorate David because he played a 12-string acoustic guitar. So they made a songwriter guitar with a white headstock with the black star. Okay, that's so cool. We have that. I got in touch with my buddy Ron Wood, and he donated a signed print of Miles Davis. That's up for auction. We also have Guitar Center donated a Telecaster guitar that my buddy John Mayer autographed, and that's up for auction. The late great Bobby Floyd had a cool Telecaster that my brother Keith Richards autographed, and that's up for auction. Other auction items are lessons. I'm going to give some drum lessons. A package of drum lessons. Carlos Alomar is going to give a package of guitar lessons. Earl Slick is going to do a package of guitar lessons. So there are a lot of different things. There's also other artwork. And so if you go to the website, you can find out all there is about all these other auction items and everything that the foundation does. So that's jazzfoundation.org. So great to see you again, my man. Great to see you too. And this team, the two of you, isn't that crazy? This is so fantastic. Yeah, I didn't. Nobody. Yeah, unbelievable. Well, we got to keep that going. Yeah, you know what I mean. You got to keep it going. You got to hand it down. That's right. And then I can finally go off and die the way I always wanted to. You're gonna go out. You're gonna score 60 points. Yeah, I'm gonna score 60. I'm gonna yell Mambo out. I'm gonna drop the mic, and that'll be it. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for having me. And anytime that you just want to come in and do radio, everybody here would love to have you. Everybody's crazy about you. I'll see you next time. I love it up here. Thank you. Hey, it's the Bennington Show. Iron Mike Eagle stopping in and about. Open mic. I'm sorry, I always do that with him. You should just you should do all this stuff. You know what? I was talking to Jordan about this. He goes, as I'm slowing down, he goes, you're picking up, and it makes total sense that you should be saying open mic. I've done that to Mike since I fucking met him. Since the day I met him. I've been calling him Iron Mike, and it's fucking crazy. I probably get him confused with an old wrestler. Anyway, he'll be here in about 40 minutes. Look, Vito finally giggled at something. Joe, how embarrassed do you feel now that Steve Jordan's here? I feel really embarrassed. You should.
But do you feel educated now?
Yeah. Finally? The amount of people he's played with and the people he knows is insane.
He was just telling me in the hall, he's producing 4 different albums at the same time for major players. I'm not going to say all major and all very different. Yeah, and just as cool as could be. It's like in all different genres. He's a cool dude. He was showing me this picture of him, Bill Graham, Jerry Garcia, this whole thing, and he goes like this. I'm going to send this to you, man. Just like this. Yeah, I'd love to get it. I love that guy. Love him. And literally, he's the type of guy who could come in and do radio in a second because he could talk about Kobe in the same way that you sit down and talk about Miles or Keith Richards. As passionately, and he's great. And then no offense, Chris, I look around at the knuckleheads that I have to have conversations with. Me, Chris? He was just saying, shake them off, Claire. Yeah. Shake them off. But anyway, that's one of the times where you're like, God, it's so cool working at Sirius, because just to have that dude come in. I'm going to Keith Richards bought somebody drum lessons, right, from Steve Jordan. This is a fucking true story. And I'm going to let you guys play 20 questions in just a minute. But plug Open Mic's album, because you were saying you and your man listen to this constantly.
Yes. Open Mike Eagle's new album is Hella Personal Film Festival. It's available now on iTunes and Amazon. And he's also performing tonight at 11 p.m. at Kung Fu Necktie in Philly. Go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start the 20 questions. Here's the story.
Okay.
It was a birthday present, right?
All right.
Keith Richards, as a birthday present, bought this person drum lessons from Steve Jordan. You think you already know, Gail?
No, we're playing 20 questions, right? Okay. We're not writing down?
No, we're not going to write down.
Is this person a drummer?
Well, first of all, it's amazing to me that you feel that you should go first, but yeah. Well, now I guess this person drums. They drum and enjoy it, but are they known as a professional drummer? That's your question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish you would have asked it better. Vito, you get to go.
Sorry.
Is this person known as a lead singer?
No, come on, Vito. If you want to fucking be in this or not, it's not Springsteen. I know that's where you're going.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead, dude.
Was this person in the Rolling Stones?
No. Now that's 3 already. Chris, you're not getting it. You're suspended for 1, so you'll be able to listen now.
Okay.
But I just know that you'll ask a dumb question.
Right.
That's what I worry about.
Okay.
Is this person known as a rock musician?
No. Vito.
Is this person known as a jazz musician?
No.
Is he an actor?
What is it? Will you?
That was going to be my first question.
Well, you go ahead and ask.
Is this person an actor?
No.
Well, you just did that one.
Yeah. No, of course not. Gail, back to you. And I think we're about at 13 questions you haven't even guessed.
Is this person known for rap genre?
You know.
Is this person a musician?
Nope. Well, now, I guess a drummer, just amateur drummer.
I'm just going to take a guess.
That's dumb.
Okay. Is it the president?
No. That's kind of an interesting guess, though.
Is this person the head of a company?
No.
Filmmaker?
No.
Writer?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
A writer. Now, how many questions? We're about at 18, 19. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Joe first, which means we end with Vito, and everybody gets to guess now.
Okay.
You got it down to a writer.
Kurt Vonnegut.
It's dead.
So I get another question before I get the guess?
No.
Oh, it's Stephen King.
No.
Shit.
Fuck. Is it Spike Jonze?
Why does everybody... Spike Jonze?
He's known a screenplay or two, right?
He's a director. He's known as a director.
No one was ever going to call even a screenwriter just a writer.
John Irving.
No. It is Fran Lebowitz.
Oh my God!
That's awesome!
Isn't that great?
That is so great. Could you imagine?
No.
I cannot imagine what those lessons were like.
Mm-mm.
Man, that is maybe the coolest thing I've ever heard. Now I'm just imagining Fran Lebowitz playing drums, and I fucking love it.
I know. That's a crazy story. That's a true story. It's my family. It's not me. And then he went into that band leader's head and put a gun up to it and said, either your name or your brains go on that contract. That's a true story. What do you look? You trying to think of the movie, Chris?
It's Godfather, right?
Why would you say right instead of just The Godfather? When you say right like that,
he does that a lot.
I know. It drives me nuts.
You don't trust yourself, Chris.
God, no.
I don't trust you around money.
Or children.
I know you steal from me.
I don't steal from you, Ron.
Every day I leave here, I'm like, I'm about $50 later. Somehow it gets in my fucking pockets during the show. Hey, did you see? I was thinking of, all right, I'm going to stay with the rock thing for a minute. The Black Keys do not like Steve Miller, and they found him to be very unpleasant.
They're very upset with Steve Miller because at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was shitting on the music industry. He was shitting on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as is. He was.
I have no problems with that, though.
Well, you know, a lot of people really enjoyed it. Got a lot of good feedback because they were like, this guy tells it like it is. Like, this is great. And, you know, it's kind of a rock and roll mentality to be like that. But the Black Keys were very disappointed, and they found it to be they said he was just unpleasant to be around.
Good. I know I'm disappointed in the Black Keys. They have problems with everybody. They have problems with Steve Miller, Jack White. They're getting fights with him.
Oh, okay, so there's.
Can I tell you what my big beef was? My biggest problem with this is that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame brought in Steve Miller, and they deserve to be shit upon for doing that. From Phoenix, Arizona, on the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia. Like, what are you doing? What are you just fucking naming cities now, Steve?
He's got a lot to say.
Listen to this. Kevin Hart said, done with stand-up tours. He goes, doesn't want to do any more stand-up tours.
What is making him say this?
Maybe that he had his last 6 albums opened at number 1. And he just did 153 cities and sold out. You know, he can't get bigger. He cannot get bigger in stand-up.
And he's got 3 movies coming out, I believe, this year alone. At least in the first half of the year.
Yeah, where's he going to have time to keep his stand-up? Plus, no one's going to stop him if he goes, I decide to go on another tour.
You said you weren't going to do it.
But Eddie Murphy doesn't do tours. Steve Martin doesn't do tours. You know what I mean? Like, once you get so big, right? What are you going to keep doing? I was just, we did the Bill Hicks Comics Life. Now they're asking us to do another one on, should I not give it away? Because we might be doing a couple more of these.
Yeah.
Should I not give it away?
Let's not give it away yet.
Well, then I had a great fucking story.
Oh, Chris, why'd you say he couldn't give it away?
But I'll just say this famous comedian who was selling out these giant places couldn't transition into a movie career, and then the giant places got smaller and smaller and smaller. Like, we almost expect our comedians, once they get incredibly big, to move into TV or movies, you know?
Right. I think it's very
if you don't, it just starts to fall apart on you.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that there are comics out there who don't see stand-up as a stepping stone to get the TV show or a big comedy movie career. They don't see it that way. And yet it's kind of like that's what everybody else expects you. Like, if you're not trying to go on auditions, I mean, most comics kind of slug through that world, you know?
But the thing is, that becomes even an advertisement for your touring career, because people come out to see people that they saw on a glowing screen of some sort, more than they do of, hey, that's good stand-up. I'm going to go out and see it. Even though I can tell you, I don't think there's ever been as much interest in stand-up as there is now. Not even in the so-called, golden age of stand-up, because people follow stand-up, I think, a little more intense. Oh, that's the guy from the Today Show, right?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
Come on, Chris. Are you going to be... Let me ask you, if Dice would have went to Milkshake, would Milkshake have known?
Milkshake would have known.
Milkshake would have taken care of it, probably.
I didn't take care of that at all.
That's okay.
But you're there with the emotional support that Milkshake has.
Oh, God,
You're very similar.
Yeah.
Like, if I start fucking yelling at Joe, you would just start yelling at him,
I'd
too.
tear into that piece of shit. Want me to start right now? Because that guy's a cocksucker.
You put the boots to him if he asks.
Yeah.
I need to get, mirrors in here so I can see behind me, because you guys get to see everybody. And then I'm always trying to turn quick. And I always miss them.
That's okay. You missed 2 people, and now you feel like it's always happening.
Oh, it's always happening.
You missed Gwenny.
Yeah.
And then we went over to see her anyway.
Double back.
We decided she looked attractive, right?
Yes. We did decide attractive. I made some comments about her shiny, shiny hair. You guys got to see the
you know
butt.
what meant a lot to me? Cashmere thought that she looked good. And Cashmere pointed out to me something I never knew. It's almost impossible to wear a white blazer.
It's very difficult, yeah.
I did not know that.
No clue. I figure anyone can wear a white blazer whenever they want.
It's a very specific
We were
look.
just talking about Steve Martin a minute ago. White blazer.
Yeah, he does it well.
What is it based on? Hair or like color of the face?
I think
What?
everything. And build also is important, you know. And
Well,
I
Chris
also
can
think
wear
just
anything.
cleanliness.
Give me a white blazer
Just
right now. I'll wear it
if you're
every day.
if you're a spilly spiller.
Oh God, then I can never have a white blazer. That's, by the way, that article is up on the iBang today. And I don't know why we're even talking about this, but Bill and Ted 3 rumors going around.
Don't mind if I do.
Loving it, huh?
Give me some time travel.
Who did you like, Bill or Ted?
I guess Ted, but Bill's very close second.
I won't be saying this because George Carlin no longer is with us.
Aww.
And that, to me, was the whole point.
You kept it together.
Yeah. Maybe we could get Kelly Carlin to go in and do that.
That would be perfect.
Right, somebody says, where can I hear that Bill Hicks Life and Comedy? I think we're going to play it tomorrow again.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
It played over weekends and stuff like that. We'll play it on our show tomorrow because this time, tomorrow we're doing one of our 2 for days. We're in for Opie at 7 o'clock. And that's always a fun thing for us to do.
And then we'll be back here, doubling it up.
Yeah. We'll be back here where we've always been.
Mm-hmm.
Back where we've always been. I wonder who's more exciting about this, Bill and Ted. Keanu or Alex Winder? Who do you think is more like, yeah?
Should we write down our guess?
Yeah. I would just use the same paper, though. I don't want to waste paper this time. Because you guys really blew the Fran Lebowitz.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was Stephen King for sure.
I almost went with Toni Morrison as my guess instead of
That
John
would've been bizarre.
Irving. And then I thought, I feel like I'm going to get yelled at for that.
Why? Because of race reasons? I don't yell
No.
at that.
Age.
All right, did you ever, well, Fran's about the same age
I
as
know.
Tony.
That's why I kind of wish I had.
You didn't believe in yourself, then.
I
know. I've never heard of a presidential candidate doing this, but Bernie Sanders joined a picket line yesterday, and he was speaking with the Verizon. He was there. He had a mic, doing a mic check with the Verizon people.
He's great. He loves being on the picket line.
He loves it.
And you know he's not afraid to get arrested.
No, I'll get arrested in a heartbeat.
He likes getting arrested.
I wonder why we can't hear him.
Chris?
The Sanders campaign. Kylie,
look, we
your
got it
video that we
after
were
Bernie was
watching
was Bernie Sanders in Brooklyn just moments ago. He caught up with some Verizon workers who were on strike this morning over a contract dispute.
Fuck Verizon. Fuck everything that they stand for. Up against the line, you motherfuckers. I think that's just hilarious, though. 40,000 Verizon people are out. And what is the Yankee station? They're not on Comcast anymore?
No, I don't think. No, I think
so. I get Time Warner, right?
Yeah.
And they run commercials telling people to drop Comcast because they don't have the Yankees channel.
Yeah.
I'm like, no one's seeing this that doesn't have the fucking Yankees channel.
Yeah, it's very weird. I guess it's like get the word out there to your friends.
Oh yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking. Of course, you do have the other channels if they rent it on the other channels. Okay. We're making sense now. All right, I fixed it. I got my brain working again. My brain told the rest of my brain
But
that I
this
was wrong.
Verizon strike, I think, is one of the biggest strikes in many years.
Oh, 40,000? Yeah, that's
like,
gigantic.
That's massive.
Well, I wish they would just put up more rats, though. I like it whenever I walk past a rat and people blowing whistles.
Yeah.
I'll fucking stop and like, fuck this place. It's always fun.
As a kid, I just thought I didn't realize it was for scabs or whatever. But I just thought it was a place infested with rats, so stay away from it.
Come on, Chris asks questions. You know,
Children sometimes don't.
I know. It drives me
They're
nuts.
just like, I'm going to assume I have this figured out.
Don't.
You know what? I don't mind the rat, but why do they have to have that weird belly? Like, you know how like it
It's a
has
belly
this
patch,
like
yeah. It's an infested rat. It's an infested rat.
Oh.
Spreads disease.
You know, I wish I could run serious because I would do more stuff with I would do more stuff with Steve Jordan and that thing that he's doing, you know?
Crazy not to.
Yeah. What's this Cat Williams story? I hadn't heard about that.
All right, so Cat Williams apparently got into an altercation at a rest stop in Georgia.
He's got to stop, man.
And so he was getting into it with a trucker and like 3 women. Apparently, they had canes and they were like hitting the guy's car and losing their shit. And this is the 911 call from by the trucker talking. He doesn't realize it's Cat Williams.
911.
Yes, ma'am. Trucker. I don't know what exit it is. Here where the Petro and the Flying J truck stop is.
Okay.
Off of the highway, off of I-85. I'm a retired Dallas cop. All right, I just pulled in here. Listen to me now. You have a black Range Rover, a Land Rover, English made. You have 2 black males. You have 2 black females. They just got no confrontation with a trucker, and they're driving with their lights off. I believe them to be gangbangers, and they're up no freaking good. They're driving around with their lights off, and I believe they're looking to do something bad to this trucker. They're now confronting another, there's a deputy or somebody out with them right now. Yeah, there's a couple of deputies.
Yes, sir.
Right here.
That's correct.
I want to start another squad. Now listen to me. I am a retired Dallas police officer out of Texas. These people just came out of trucker with a couple of canes, and there's a little short black guy that had some sweats on, black and yellow sweats. And I overheard him yell at the trucker that he would shoot the trucker, terroristic threat.
Okay.
And I bet you anything they have some weapons. So
Are you still on scene, or have you left?
I've left, but as I was leaving, I see a couple of deputies out with the Range Rover right now.
That's correct. Yes, sir. They were across the road, and they've moved over, so we've got all
these people are a real pain in the ass, and something needs to be done about them. So take care of your business over here. I'm going back to Texas. Have a good one. Bye.
Well, there goes the Lone Ranger. We never got a chance to thank him. Cat Williams can't go 4 fucking days without being in some nutty thing.
He really can't.
No, dude, how many times do you ever find yourself swinging a cane at a truck? His ability just to go from nothing to furious is like in a second and a half.
Like, does he have a day's rest of this type of behavior?
No. He's chaos. Pure fucking chaos, this guy.
It would hurt to hear how many times he mentioned short. It's like, yeah, I get it.
He's not the tallest guy. I mean, that's a good description. By the way, look, here, Stryker sent us the picture when I told you, guy. That's Len Dawson. So that would have probably been the late 60s. Look how young he is there.
Wow, he looks like a baby.
Yeah. Just smoking a...
It's a good look, though.
Cigarette. This is halftime at the Super Bowl.
I cannot imagine that. That's
so this would have
wild.
Been either, I guess, 1968 or 1970, I think, was the 2 Super Bowls that they were at. And the dude just fucking smoking cigarettes.
I mean, when would that have stopped? In the 70s? Because by the time I was born, cigarettes were already a very kind of vilified thing, and they were obviously not to the level they are now, but it was that process had begun.
I think in the 70s they said to Johnny Carson, you can't smoke. But the late night guy used to smoke, right? Tom Snyder.
Yeah,
would just be sitting there and be like, we got a great show for you tonight. It's fantastic. I just lit up and I suggest you do the same.
But yeah, I mean, the idea of just seeing chain smoking on late night television or news, it's just wild.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Because the world I was born into was already like,
they turned on smoking in a big way. I think they cut out the commercials in the early 70s. See if you can find out just when they said you couldn't do commercials. But you could always do magazine
ads.
That
but
surprised
now I don't think they can. Or maybe I just don't notice
I don't think anybody advertises anything anymore in magazines.
No, I think there's like menthol ads in magazines still. I'm finding the year when they banned them.
Why are they allowed to just do menthol? Are they banned or?
That's good for you. Menthol's good for you.
Yeah.
It's a fucking vegetable.
So fresh.
None of you guys can read it? Can't find it?
January of 1971.
There you go.
Early 70s. Bump, bump, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da, bump, bump, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da. You ever see the Fred Flintstone smoking commercial? That he was on a commercial?
I have.
Just fucking smoking away.
It's so bizarre.
Well, Bonnie. This is fucking great. I like to smoke after getting blown, Bonnie. That was a different world, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking, it was anime, I guess.
The better world.
Daycare in half of America is as expensive as college.
That is so insane to me. It is so crazy. Well, first of all, I know this from when I first moved to the city. People talking about getting their kids into daycares and preschools, and not even cost aside, how difficult it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I mean, it certainly wasn't like that in Florida when I lived there.
Your elementary school was very expensive for you and your brother.
Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't aware of the having to audition to be in a daycare or a preschool.
Yeah, well,
and now it's across the country. This is becoming.
You got in because you weren't wearing cutoffs, and that was very big in Florida. They're like,
she's got shoes on.
Well,
so
they
that's
actually said they go before I marked this. Those are hard shoes, and I go as opposed to what? And they go flippity flops.
Closed toe. Wow, these kids are classy.
Yeah, I used to tease you and call you closed toe for a while. They're like, something wrong with that girl's toes? She's hiding them all the time. Somebody sent me a thing of a gator fucking climbing a fence. I don't want to look at this.
Jesus.
I want to feel like I'm on the other side of the fence from a gator at all times. Stephen Colbert, they got rid of his showrunner, and he got a new showrunner from the CBS morning show coming in to straighten this up. What do you think, Chris? Good idea? Bad idea?
I say it's a good idea.
Why?
Because he needs to change something. Because I stopped watching the show.
Yeah, but what else was the CBS morning show fucking producer going to bring you? Gags? Joey?
It's a good idea. He does need to change something.
What's he going to change?
Maybe not as many tech startup guys on the show.
I'm not sure that this is going to make a huge impact, because I can't see the showrunner completely turning how he does the show on its ear. You know what I mean?
What if he just takes down some of the Colberts? You know what I mean? Like, you're just not constantly look at
just at least
all
in
the
half.
Colberts. Here's what I think. Since it's a CBS guy, I don't think this is his idea. I think this is one of those things where you're not winning, so you don't get to say how things are running.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you're winning, you get to do whatever you want. No, you're not winning? I'm putting my fucking guy in there. And he's going to tell me everything you're doing. If I find out you grab assing around there, I'll be fucking back. But you basically get somebody to watch you at all times.
I think that he must. Do you think he's shocked that it was not the success that people predicted it to be?
I didn't know anybody predicted. I didn't know anybody thought that he would beat Jimmy. I thought it was a risky move because he was dropping the character.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if I was making this move, bringing in two showrunners, I go, why bring in one when you can get two? And they brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Best in the biz.
Oh, we already lost them to a piano player. Okay, my fault. Too bad, because that would have worked big. Yeah, I don't know about Steve Colbert. I don't know what's going to happen there.
He doesn't seem long for it. Let's make that prediction right now. Yeah, I'm making that prediction.
Give me a time then.
He is.
Come on, Nostradamus.
All right, he is off the air. February 2017.
No way.
That's so soon.
That's stupid.
That's so soon.
Okay, let me tell you this.
Okay.
February 2017.
Yeah.
Either he's off the air or you are. I don't care how it happens.
It's a job match.
Yeah.
Job for job.
Look, you want to start shooting your mouth off when you weren't even asked.
Yeah.
Loser leaves town.
That's right. Loser leave town match.
Pull this audio. Pull it.
Yeah. Anyway, coming up in 15 minutes, it's Iron Mike Sharp.
No, it isn't. It's open mic.
Wrong?
It's open mic eagle.
Fly like an eagle to the sea. Can I tell you something? I said to Chris yesterday when I heard Steve Jordan wanted to come by. First, Chris is this dumb. Would you want Steve Jordan to come by? I go, don't even fucking ask questions like that. Just hit the fucking yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, this, would you like oxygen in your home? Yeah, I would. I like to be able to breathe. But I go, hey, we should have him and Mike in at the same time. And Chris gave me the response of, but they're booked for different times. So I said, okay, Chris. Okay.
I asked that because I'm trying to assume nothing.
But you're the one who does the booking.
Look what it is, our friend Laurie from Yonkers.
Hey, Laurie.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, do I sound okay? I'm on my weird earbud thing.
You sound better than you normally do.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that was great, that last interview. I was waiting to hear you guys ask him what town you should do next for TBS.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't believe in that kind of thing. He thinks everybody's everywhere. You know, he said, you should do Planet Earth. And I go, okay, you know?
Eventually, just one little plot point at a time. So Larry and I went and saw Colbert last week.
You guys stay busy.
They do.
They enjoy the city.
I try to,
You guys have a lot of date nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So we'd seen him about a month into his, Verizon's on strike. I'm driving through White Plains. We'd seen him about a month into his CBS show, and it was just a much more, high energy show. The band was really bringing it. When we saw him last week, he was asked, he let the audience ask a few questions before the start of the show. And one audience member asked, what would you change? Or now, what do you prefer? What did you prefer to be? I'm driving, by the way.
That's okay.
Very distracted. What did you like about the Colbert Report that's different from The Late Show? And he replied that now he doesn't get Fridays off anymore. And when I saw this morning that the showrunner had been hired from the morning show, I thought, phew, he's going to get some help, because he had been the showrunner. He had been a showrunner for an hour and a half a night show 5 nights a week, whereas before he was doing the same job but for a half an hour show 4 nights a week. So it's a big difference.
Yeah, there's certainly a difference. And you know what Joe said about bringing on tech startup guys and politicians, it just doesn't seem to have the same heat that it had over at by the way, these moves haven't worked for anybody. You know what I mean? The Daily Show's not in better shape.
Yeah.
The old Colbert Show is not in better shape. Literally, Letterman has let himself go to shit,
Some island.
Yeah,
since that
and
happened.
not even, I'm watching Samantha Bee over on TBS, and I love Samantha Bee.
I know.
There's just a lot of moves that took place that just wish timing had been different. But
Yeah. And poor Conan has fucking got to fly all over the world to do his shows.
Yeah.
I don't even get that.
Where do you want me?
Yeah.
I'll go. I will be there. But yeah, I think Conan, not Conan,
You said
Colbert.
Conan, though.
I know, but I meant to say
Brian.
Colbert. You guys, I want to say Colbert.
That's all him. That's all Chris.
I think that Colbert has something where he's certainly less passionate about talking to his guests. Like, you can see that there's less passion
Yeah,
there.
he doesn't give
But
a
I
fuck.
think that part of it had to do with communicating behind a character.
Right.
And being that character. And I think that he hasn't quite figured out that. And I don't think he's getting the right guests. I don't think he's always excited to sit down with the
Who's
people.
doing his show tonight? Let's try to rebook this show for him.
Okay.
Because this thing is fucked up. And I know that the guy from the Third Place Morning Show can go in there and make this thing work.
You're going to change everything. Let's see. All right. Tonight is Michael Strahan, Samantha Bee, and Wilco.
Oh, well, there you go. That's 2 out of the 3 that I love. I'm in.
Well, you're a Strahan person. I
Yeah,
see it.
Strahan and Wilco. There you go.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, who we saw was Bantel Cowan and Melissa McCarthy promoting the movie. It's getting bad reviews, but whatever. They were great. And Ariana Huffington, who's an interesting person.
Yeah, Ariana, that thing felt like it was like 7-8 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for
like,
sure.
again, we got enough people talking about the election. We don't even need our late night guys to talk about the election.
Promoting her book, which is about sleep. It's as though she's checked out of everything that she ever had any interest in before, and now she's trying to improve our health and sanity by making sure we get a solid 8 hours a night.
I can't.
And abandon our, fear of missing out.
You should improve the layout of that website of hers. It blows.
All right, come on,
Just
Chris.
say HuffPost.
Chris, it's not hard to get around there.
It's very hard. It's
How?
muddled.
Not that difficult.
It's muddled.
There's nothing. What you can hit entertainment. You can hit whatever you want.
What do you want different?
The Drudge Report. There's 3 columns.
Oh,
The Drudge Report makes me feel like I've.
It's racist.
Oh man, Stanley's at it again.
I just feel like I'm in 1995.
Yeah, it's bizarre going there.
All right, you know who is Ted Cruz is fighting like hell with the Drudge Report, and he's saying all you are is a right wing backing up Trump and trying to make me look like shit. And I'm like, now you know how everybody else has been talking about Drudge. You know what I mean? Now everybody complain. The Republicans complain about Drudge and Fox to me. And I'm like, you're the last people to have trouble with this.
Those are yours.
But this is a great thing. It might even be on Drudge, but it's on a lot of places. So, and it might even be up on the iBang yet. But they brought up this thing that a couple years ago that that Cruz tried to get rid of dildos in Texas. That was his big thing. And he says something like, you don't have a constitutional right to genital stimulation is what he said. And then the funny thing is there was a tweet going, well, he wasn't like that in college, said his old roommate. Basically.
Could you imagine your old roommate still busting your balls?
Yeah.
Tweet what Ted Cruz thinks people don't have a right to stimulate the genitals. I was his college roommate. This would be a new belief of his.
But really, who would want to get rid of fucking?
That's really weird. It's one of those things where you have to be able to see how bizarre and emasculated you come off looking by saying that you don't want people to have dildos. It's like, it's so weird. It's such a level of prudishness that I can't even fathom.
What do you even care about? What do you fucking care about that for?
Why? First of all, why are you, if you don't use dildos,
Right.
why are you sitting around thinking about other people using dildos? Like, what is your concern with that?
And by the way, how is society going to be better without dildos? Give me one fucking what? You know what I mean? Like,
better off, dude.
But I'm not even saying there's better or worse, but it's
more
not
penises to enter those holes.
I just don't even think that that's true.
Like,
You know?
well, like, what's his problem with dildo? I just want to know what his big issue is.
It's got to be the Bible. There's no other fucking reason to care. I mean, it is. I'm not gonna lie here. You are having robot sex, you know, and that's my big fucking fear as it is. Robot sex. All right, all right, Brian wants to talk to us about Steve Colbert. Go ahead, Brian.
Bennington.
Yes.
What's up, boys?
Hey.
Girl.
Hey.
Gail Ann, showrunner is going to change the game.
Okay.
A good showrunner, so good. A bad showrunner is so fucking bad. I just had the worst showrunner on my show 2 shows ago. My showrunner right now, rock god. Fucking awesome. And there's a huge difference.
What type of show do you do, though?
Hidden Camera is right now. It's a prank show.
So, the showrunner is everything. Believe it or not, Chris would be considered the showrunner here. And you can see what a sloppy fucking mess we are. And that's no offense to you, Chris.
Okay.
But you don't work. First of all, I had to take you away from working with Joe and Vito.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't even know what you do anymore.
Special projects.
Special teams for special boys.
Special teams.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you laugh, Brian.
Yeah, but Brian, see, here's the thing. We don't know if this guy is a good showrunner or not for a late night show. I mean, he's doing the CBS morning show.
No, I agree with you. And I think it's also, all they're doing is mixing it up. It's clearly not working. They're doing the best thing they can do, and they're rolling the dice a little bit by changing it. But if they kept going down this path, I mean, we all know the
Yeah, you do this with a sports team. You can't fire the whole team, so you
Correct.
fire the coach, you know?
Correct. And I have Chip Kelly this year, so I'm fucked anyway. So
All
what are you
right,
going to do?
so there you go.
Later,
Onward
buddy.
and upward, San Francisco 49ers. By the way, LA gets first draft pick. That's weird. I don't even know who's supposed to go.
I think there's 2 quarterbacks and a running back that are supposed to be hot shit.
Well, they're definitely going to go after a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Rams. They haven't had a fucking quarterback. Probably Roman Gabriel was the last time that they sat around, thought, oh, we have a quarterback. I know, I'm fucking around. Don't all you greatest turf on earth people come after me.
Oh, Kurt Warner, yeah.
The greatest show on turf.
Really? That's why you have one?
I like that I just call it the greatest turf on earth. I'm a fucking maniac today. Well, I was so excited last night.
I know.
I had a lot to live for last night. I mean, tonight I don't know what, I'm going to be doing. I guess just probably watch Modern Family, but still.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the same excitement.
God, no.
Do we know if Mike's here?
Mike is here.
Do we break first?
Yeah, let's break first.
All right, we'll be back with our very good friend. And what's the name of his album and how do people get it?
It's Hella Personal Film Festival. It's available now, and you can get it on iTunes and Amazon.
All right, we'll be right back with Open Mike Eagle.
Bennington is back with Open Mike Eagle, his new album. Hella Personal Film Festival is available now on iTunes and Amazon. And Open Mike Eagle is performing tonight, April 14th at 11 p.m. at Kung Fu Necktie in Philadelphia. Go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets. And you can follow him on Twitter at Mike_Eagle.
Oh,
that's all very true. Yes, I do rock the underscore. Because the two E's together, the end of Mike and the beginning of Eagle, that looks stupid.
Ah!
That looks real dumb.
All right, let's try. Type them up both, Chris. I'm going to say it.
It looks real dumb.
By the way, congratulations on the album. The reviews are crazy. I read the reviews everywhere.
They are. The scores are weird, but the reviews are good. It's like this weird disconnect in the music editorial world. Like glowing review, middling score.
See, I never go by scores. All right, look, it's true.
Yeah.
So what's that?
Yeah,
Mikey Aggle.
Exactly.
That's what
It looks like
Mikey Aggle.
McCagle or something. You know what I mean? That's not nice.
The album is so phenomenal.
Thank you.
It is
for saying
so
that. Thank you
good.
for
I'm listening to it nonstop.
Thank you.
My man is obsessed with it. We're listening to it all the time.
Now, what was he saying? How he said this is his first favorite album in how long?
Yeah, he said like this is the first album, and he can't remember how long, where he was just obsessively listening to it over and over.
Man, that's really cool to hear. That's super nice.
So damn good.
Maybe you're getting that. Well, he's from Philly. You're going to Philly tonight.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, have some hometown people come out as a favor, I'm not against it.
That'd be great.
Not against
That'd be
that.
great.
Not done well in Philly traditionally. So.
Is that right?
Yeah, no. It's not a big indie rap town.
Well, you know what? Philly's just, it's a strange market all the way around. Yeah. I like to call it Nova Nation. You know what I mean?
It's Nova Nation.
Two big things happened last night. The fact that LeBron is from Lower Merion, which is really part of the Nova Nation. It's right there. And then the other, your childhood hero, Michael Jordan, and his Bulls no longer have that record.
I thought that would last forever.
Well, this started today. Joe said...
Hi, Joe.
He said this, if Golden State social justice warriors, if they win the championship, he claims they become the greatest team of all time. And I'm like, I'm not a person that thinks that you can just do this by numbers.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can do it after your second title either, especially if there's teams that have won like 8.
Right.
How can the person winning their second one be automatically better than somebody who has 8?
He's just saying for a best one-season team.
One-season team.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
What the hell? Okay, maybe, but it's not like competition is equal across seasons, right?
No, that's for sure. I brought that up. If you go back to the 70s and 60s, when there were less players, I mean, if you go back and look at the Knicks-Lakers, it looks like an East-West game in those days. I mean, it's an all-star amount of players who all Hall of Famers. You look out there, like 9 Hall of Famers out of 10 guys playing.
Yeah, now there's just a lot of terrible teams and a real few really good ones.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Cleveland sits around all year, and even when they're weren't playing up to where they wanted to be, they weren't even slightly worried about anything. They're just biding time so they get to the playoffs.
Why did they fire their coach when they were like leading the division, though?
LeBron has to have what LeBron needs.
I really don't like him.
What is it about LeBron? Because is he too big and strong for people to care about? You know,
I think maybe that's it.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's too unrelatable in that way.
He looks indestructible.
Yeah,
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, he just looks like somebody that the Transformers should be fighting against.
But to me, he's always seemed oddly petty, if that makes any sense. And I think it may be underscored because I'm a Chicago Bulls guy, and he seemed to like take special joy in like hurting us.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember there's this little guy named John something who was a point guard for our team, like backing up Derrick Rose. This guy had to be like 5'4". And he like completely jumped over this man and dunked on him and looked at him like, you know what I mean? Like he was 7 feet tall. And so I'm like, come on, LeBron, stop being petty, man.
Well, remember when everybody said that LeBron would play that way until the end of the game?
Yeah.
And then he just couldn't close out. He would give the ball away. So there was always reason to fuck with LeBron. But, you know, I remember Wilt Chamberlain had this great quote that nobody cheers for Goliath. And you don't want to look so physically indestructible. You know, I think that's the thing that we all like about Seth is that you look at him, you're like, that kind of reminds me of me in the driveway. You know, he just feels like a regular guy, just nailing it from the outside, and you can relate to him a lot more.
Right, that's true. You feel like you could get good at that.
Yeah,
practice enough. Can't be LeBron though.
No.
Yeah.
Although I'm gonna. I wonder if the Warriors are ever going to win this year, to tell you the truth.
Too much pressure?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. But that's the thing. They seem like they like the pressure. I mean, they went out of their way to win this many games. They didn't have to.
Right.
You know?
I'm always worried about Draymond Green. I always feel like he's going to freak out and do something crazy.
Yeah.
Do something weird. I don't know what. Like, it's all going to get to him. He's going to run into the stands, taking his jersey off. And
I like a good public meltdown.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen with him. He's the guy I'm worried about.
One sneaker, and he's just fucking screaming at people.
Just licking the floor. Like, you don't know what the hell's going on.
I love a good meltdown. And not just, I mean, yeah, it's funny to see a kid meltdown, but when an adult loses their shit.
Oh, yeah.
When I see a woman just screaming in the streets of New York, it's better than any movie I can see.
I was like on the subway, if it's just like you're dealing with some bullshit and then somebody starts to freak out, it almost relieves you like, well, I don't need to freak out because she's got this.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just going to be like, hey, let's all chill out. Even though like you were a minute away from being that person. You're doing that on the inside.
There was a woman that used to hang around my neighborhood a little bit. She was in her, I'll say, mid-30s, and you could just see the stress and pain in her face, and she would be stomping around, and then she would turn to somebody close to them and be like yelling at them about rape. And the amount of men that would be like freaking out, like, no, there's no rape going on here.
Right.
You know what I
She
mean?
would just be talking about rape or the concept of rape.
And then she would turn to them and like, this is not a rape, thing. You can't rape.
Oh.
And people be like, you could yell, like a crazy person could yell anything and you ignore them until they get to rape. And then they would like, literally like, no one is being raped. I'm honestly on my way, And I followed her. I was smoking a cigar. I followed her just to see how many men would just yell, I'm not raping anyone. It was fucking so great.
I think arms up, palms out like that is a universal sign for there's no raping going on.
There's no rape.
There's no raping.
I have no rape here.
This is it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am limp and have been that way since I left my home. That's the thing about rape is like, if you have any kind of ego, you don't want to feel like you have to rape someone. You're like, really? I'm that unattractive that I would have to rape you.
Yeah, I think that's probably what is so difficult for most people to understand why people do it. Because I know that in any point, like this always comes up with any celebrity rape accusations, that the first thing people say is like, he don't need to rape because he's so attractive and he's so rich. Yeah. Like, but people who do that, it has nothing to do with that. It's a power thing. It has nothing.
Do you think so?
Yes, I absolutely think so.
Why rape? Why is that?
There's no rape.
See hands up. The hands go up.
Mike is right.
Not being a rapist.
Universal sign. But no, we're just saying when you rape and how you do it.
I don't rape anyone.
Out of this country.
Outside also.
Because you took a lot of third world vacations, and you know that's true.
You know, it's cheap down there. That's all I'm saying.
You get away with a lot over there.
Yeah, he was going to Eastern Europe and the islands, and both of those seem like trouble to me.
Or Soviet bloc.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm like, oh God, where's he go next? Thailand? No. Cambodia?
Flight's too long.
Is that right?
It's like 14 or 15 hours.
What's your maximum time that you could be in a plane?
Like, I think when I went to Europe was like 8 hours maybe, or 6 or 7 or something. I was
Mine
a
is
fucking freak.
15 minutes less than the LA flight.
Right.
New York to LA is 15 minutes too long.
Yeah, that last 15 is tough.
You're
looking out the window and you're like, why is it the city getting bigger? I'm looking at it. Make it bigger and closer to me.
I literally had that exact thought Monday when I was flying into town. I was like, why? How are we over water now? How did this even happen? Because it flies over and comes back. I'm like, no.
That gets really stupid, that flight, where it's like, now I'm going to make a right, then a left, now another left, and you're like, you're fucking wasting everyone's time. Figure out a straight route.
Can I tell you guys the worst European flight story ever?
Yeah.
Can I tell that? So I've gotten used to taking edibles on the plane.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just smooth.
Stop acting like it's cold. You're an adult man.
But I gotten accustomed to it. Like, typically FAA is not looking in your snacks. So, I'm able to get them through. And, I was feeling really cocky and I was going to take a bunch to Europe. Like, I was going to be out there a month. So I was going to take this entire supply of chocolate bars and stuff. And, I get it through security and I'm by myself at the airport bar in the international terminal in LAX. And it's just me and the bartender, just empty chairs all around. And I've had my little edible, I'm drinking a little drink, I'm getting right for the flight. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see a police person and a drug sniffing dog. And there's no way I can get to a trash can without them seeing me because there's no people around. And so what I decided to do is eat all of it right then.
Oh my God.
So my first flight to Europe was 9 hours of basically me trying to hold my body together. Like I was just writhing slowly in pain and just trying not to freak out and bring too much attention to myself. But it was the worst flight.
And that 9 hours feels like 9 days.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't even know, after I even got off the flight, I was still fucked up. And I didn't know where jet lag ended and just dosing myself began. It was rough. It was a rough couple days. It's a rough couple days.
It's describing my hell right now. It's like flight and then being in that state.
Right.
Forget it. Because I'm a bad flyer no matter what's going on. I'm not
a bad weed smoker.
And a bad weed smoker.
Okay. Yeah. So you haven't tried to put them together then?
No, I have not tried to put them together.
Wouldn't recommend it if you don't like either.
I would not do well. But yeah, I did, I guess the longest I ever did was 8.5 hours. And that was pretty brutal. And even there was a layover in there, but so it was so it was 6.5 or 7 at first and then another hour. And I was just
Did you get out of the plane during the layover though?
Well, yeah, I got off the plane.
Yeah.
But it was just 15 minutes. It was off for a second and then back on.
Travel's hard. That's the hardest thing about, the arts where you have to go out and travel, whether you're a musician or a comedian. That's the part that, and you're also up there and you're like, am I a good dad? Am I flying away from the people in my life? I don't feel like I'm meeting my response. I'm trying to have fun, but then I remember, someone's growing up.
Well, you can't help but just feel so fragile. I think all your emotions are just kind of present and you have nothing else to do but kind of be pensive.
Yeah.
So then you just start feeling what is a life?
Yeah, I know. I mean, hotel rooms are the same way. You're just in this thing. And the thing about hotel rooms is that I always think is, why are the bottles so small? Just, if we're going to be drinkers because we're in a hotel, let's get much larger bottles.
I'll pay.
There she is. It should just be full fits. No candy bars at all.
Useless. It's $3, man. Who needs a $3 Twix?
I know, it's insane.
Nobody wants that either.
But it's insane what they feel like they can get away with in the world.
Yeah, it is. And then there's no way to fight back. I mean, I kind of think that about most things where, like, the MTA is shit, but there's not really anything you can do to stop it. Like, you can't, you're going to pay the price.
Yeah, who are you going to complain to?
There's nothing, you have no other option.
What's wrong with the MTA, though? I don't even know.
It's so bad.
Yeah? Like, is it just bad now, or is it always bad, or?
I think it's been worse in the last, I don't know, 5 years. I feel like it's
Obama.
Gotcha. No, but the thing is, the MTA is run by the state. It's not run by the city.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. So these people who don't use it, they don't need it.
They're getting rid of Metro cards too, right?
In place of what? What are they going to?
What's next?
They're going to do like contactless payments. So like for your phone, you download an app and then
What
you
if you don't have a
recharge
phone?
the app.
Yeah, that's a
I guess
good question.
burners, but that's where they're headed right now. They
Well,
want to
here's
do
the
like
thing.
phone.
If my phone goes out, right, I don't get a train or an Uber. This is the world I'm living in.
Now you get nothing.
I think that's where we're heading. Yeah,
It's just like more and more attached to this thing until it's literally going
You
to
know
be
why?
attached
Because
to
they
it.
want to make us feel like we're not spending money. Because when I grab a cab, I feel like I'm spending money. When I get in an Uber, I'm like, great, free ride.
All the time.
Fantastic.
It is really bad because the times where you can get an Uber and you decide just to take a yellow cab, like suddenly you're like, this is expensive, and it might be a ride that you take all the time in an Uber, but you're just like, I just walked out, both the cab in. There's no exchange of money,
right?
I'm starting to prefer that cab again, though, man. I'm really getting tired of the Uber small talk, man. This shit's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
The guy dropped me off at the last airport. He was just really excited to tell me he was going to the circus this week. It bothered me so much that he really was determined to talk to me about the circus. Like, you know, I feel like cab drivers, they know better.
Yeah, and
people don't really want to be spoken
to. You know, particularly there's glass between you. There's like a very specific.
Right,
it's very professional.
Well, what's great is that even there's a different language. You know what I mean? I have no idea. But an Uber driver a couple weeks ago recommended a book to me that he thought would change my life. Me and him discussed it for a while. And fuck if I didn't go home and buy it. I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like this is a weird thing. You know what I mean? If someone brings up something to you, that's about as close as I get to spirituality. If someone brings up a book, I'm like, well, where would that come from?
Like,
you know?
maybe I meant to read that. Did you read it?
I started to read it, and then, you know, life got in the way.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is about not letting life get in the way, which is kind of ironic. I'm going to go home and read it tonight. You know what? This would be the easiest way for me to read this book, is just read it on air to everybody. That way,
that would be.
I get the knowledge, and everybody gets the same thing.
Maybe we could do a daily segment where you just read.
I think straight through.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Great.
I'm sure Audible will be excited about that.
Are we still with Audible?
Yes, you are.
Are we?
Yes,
I know we go back and forth.
Yeah, we're still with Audible at this point.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's still how I listen.
Is that right?
Audible?
Still use the Audible.
Sirius never made the deal with him. XM did.
That's what I heard.
So
my money's going to no one.
Yeah, it's just out there in the world somewhere. But if we
It's an
go
escrow somewhere.
If we say to Sirius, we're like, we're having some trouble with the Audible. They're like, why would you be dealing with Audible? There's no one left from XM, I don't think. Right?
Nope. Yeah, no one knows who to deal with at Audible. It's just a weird nebulous thing. But the shows still go up there.
We've got Open Mike Eagle in studio with us. Check out his new album because it's great. Hella Personal Film Festival. It's available now on iTunes and Amazon. He's performing tonight at 11 p.m. at Kung Fu Necktie in Philadelphia. Go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets.
Also, come to the actual Kung Fu Necktie. Come to the place tonight.
All right. Yeah.
I need that to happen.
Go there.
I'd prefer it.
Not just the website.
Yeah. Continue that momentum. Come to the place.
Once you go there, then you go there.
Exactly.
You get the tickets and you go to Kung Fu Necktie.
Yeah.
I meant to say Kobe was from Lower Merion, not LeBron. People think you're afraid to correct me, Chris.
I didn't hear it. I heard LeBron. They're afraid.
We got a call here.
Who's that?
Oh, they hung up.
Oh no.
Like a nice wrong number call. Mainly because they have time to keep people on the line. You get wrong number calls on your cell?
Usually no. But any number I get that I don't know is a creditor. So I just never answer them. So they could be wrong numbers for all I know.
You pay any of your bills?
Try not to.
There was
some do my taxes.
Some dude in upstate New York, I think it was like, I can't remember where, but they bounced from some hospital and gave a fake number. So I was getting calls for that guy's bill for like 2 years. And I had to be like, this is getting insane. You have to stop calling
Honey, that
this.
was you before we took you out of the mental institution.
What?
And then you had the sex change.
This is how you find out. With the rest of
I'm Bill?
Yes. And then we gave you edibles. That's why you're high right now.
What's happening right now? I'm taking my pants off.
You could easily start and talk Gail into a freak out. Very, very.
Oh, yeah. I'm like always right there and ready to go.
Have you ever had a public meltdown?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping it in stop. But I've had panic attacks in public, but it's not like a crowd of people around me like, what's going on with this girl?
This is the funny
like,
thing. Everybody thinks Gail is nice, and she has a very nice personality. But she is like one fucking thing away from, hey, motherfucker. I'm just like, dude, calm down.
Actually, one time I was on a business call with Chris Stanley, and we were just talking about something that was coming up, like some guest or something, and then all of a sudden I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You almost hit me. You almost hit my fucking dog. And then I like get back on the phone, and Chris is like, what's going on?
What happened?
And I was like, oh, this guy just literally just like slammed into reverse and he didn't see me. And he was like, was that you talking to him? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, she snaps into that very, very quickly.
It was fucking nuts. It was mid-sentence.
And then went back like, okay, great. So tomorrow we'll go over that. And just like went back into.
Is that guy still there?
The night that you went to the hospital and you got so drunk and you hit your head.
Yeah.
Me and Gail ended up fucking chasing a bicycle guy who was hitting him on the top of the car. We just jumped the fuck out.
Yeah.
I will fuck you up. Just fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah. My brother's the same way.
Everyone in my family, my parents are the same way.
Bennington family raised.
Yeah, they're that fast away
very
from.
Very close.
I will fucking
one strike
kill your
with
whole
us.
family.
One strike.
Strike rule. I don't know where it comes from.
I don't know at all.
You know, it's not like we're a fucking family of boxers.
I know, and
there's no reason for it.
Even my brother's like, he's a very chill guy.
Yeah.
So you would never get that in a million years. But it was like a very similar circumstance. I was walking with a group of friends, and some dude tried to like go through a stop sign without stopping, and me and my brother were right there in the intersection, and we're fucking slamming on the hood of his car, and my brother's telling him to get out of the car. He's like, get the fuck out. And we're with like 4 or 5 other friends who are like just looking at us like this brother-sister team of psychos just out of nowhere.
I remember that happened when I went to Florida. I fucking lost it on this guy, and then afterwards, I was with these people that I knew that, I didn't grow up with, so they didn't fucking act like that. And then one of the guys said after a while, he's like, what do you mean when you say you'll fuck him up? I'm like, what do you mean when I mean I fuck him up? Like sexually? What? Yeah, he had never heard the term, I will fuck you up.
Wow, he's lived a very sheltered life.
I know.
Like rape?
You will meet people that, there's a whole generation of people that haven't been raised around, losing your shit or feeling like you got to guard your space. They grew up in where you just go to someone and explain, hey, that person has broken the rules, and it'll be taken care of. I don't know. It's a better way to live, I honestly believe.
Yeah.
It's better not to fucking explode on people and act like an asshole. I do it less and less every year.
Yeah.
That's my...
Oh, I do it very rarely.
But I just always remember in Five Easy Pieces where fucking Nicholson just...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course,
Makes sense.
She didn't give him the sandwich that he wanted.
Yeah.
Go fucking crazy. That's right, Vito. That's why you don't go down the Phillies games, do you?
Oh no, I get in the fights at baseball games. I flip out.
Why?
I got into a fight at the World Series, actually, because some dude got in my face. I don't like when people get in my face about the Mets. It's my Mets. It's not their Mets. It's my Mets.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
Sounds like an infant, doesn't he?
Ownership.
Oh, boy.
And that's why they lose, because their fans are like that.
I know.
Bunch of fucking losers. What a pathetic franchise.
Well, Seinfeld didn't think so. He was cheering with him.
He also cheers for the Yankees.
I know.
Why is he allowed to do that?
He's Seinfeld.
It just seems like...
I remember he took that 17-year-old he was dating to a Yankees game.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
This is how beloved the Seinfeld show was. He had the #1 show. He was dating a girl who was still a senior, and everybody just let it ride.
Wow.
Yeah, Shoshana.
You didn't know that?
I did not know
she's
that.
She's a designer now. She's son of, I think, like Lowenstein or something.
Lowenstein, yeah.
But it did not...
didn't hurt him, huh?
Yeah, it didn't hurt him. And this is in the 90s.
Yeah, let me see pictures of them together. That's what I want to see.
Right, here's...
Yeah, it's like a father-daughter.
That looks
thing.
like a father and a daughter.
Well, I mean, her breasts don't.
Just
yeah,
Right.
those are adult,
gigantic breasts.
That's an
She's a
adult
breasty
bosom.
daughter.
Yeah, that's an
Giant
adult
breasts.
bosom,
You
yeah.
could have a breasty daughter.
Yeah, she's
Like
somebody's breasty daughter.
Like he said to the press, I only want to fuck her tits. Let's not get too crazy about
That's legal, right?
Yeah.
I mean...
Now, by the way, this is the funny thing about New York. So we've been talking about...
It's huge.
Wow.
What's that?
They're just boobs.
And I was like, when this happened, I'm like, I wonder if they'll do an episode on this. He's dating a high school girl. But he didn't have any problem. Like, he was just like, no, this is who I'm dating. You know,
nobody gave him a hard time
He
about
took the high road. He took the high road and said, this is all happening.
How close was this in proximity to Woody Allen and Soon Yi, though? Was he in the shadow of that?
Yeah, it was the same time. Yeah.
Maybe that was just a bigger, dirtier story.
Right. You're like, well, he's not doing that, so...
He seems so nice. He keeps his hair short.
Yeah.
But this is the funny thing about New York, though. So we were sitting around talking about last night might have been the greatest basketball night, maybe ever. You know, when you're not in the playoffs,
right?
Just a regular season. You're seeing two records that may never get broken. The oldest guy ever to score, 60, and a team that broke the Bulls' unbreakable record. No one's even threatened that in 20 years. So there's no reason to think anything's going to happen like that for another 20. So turn on Boomer and Carton this morning, and their opening story is the Rangers, and their second story is the Mets. And I'm like, I know you guys are local, and I get it. I know you're eventually going to get around to it. But it was hilarious to me. It was hilarious to me.
That's a national show, though, right? Isn't that?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
They're New York based, and I think you can listen to them
like on the internet. Or
yeah,
something.
on the internet or wherever that MSG. No, they're not on MSG. They're Yes. Are they Yes now?
They're Yes
CBS
Network.
Sports.
CBS. They're CBS Sports.
CBS Sports.
Yeah, but I think that they even said to them, keep it New York based.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's mainly New York stuff. That's all they really cover.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe. Well, I don't know what's going on with the Rangers. A little worried about these injuries. And the Mets have turned it around. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
People are really worried about the Mets.
Well, you want to meet the Mets, right?
Meet the Mets.
Yeah.
At least go out and greet them.
Were the Knicks fantastically shitty again this year? I didn't hear
really
much.
just pathetically bad.
They're there with the Nets.
Yeah.
It's amazing to have two of something and have them both blow. It's crazy.
Shit shows.
I mean, you've doubled your chances. And still does you no good.
So bad. Mismanaged.
And there's just nothing on the horizon that looks like it's going to...
Oh, no, I mean, they're stuck in this Carmelo trade, the Carmelo contract, but they're saying they might trade him.
Dude, I don't want to hear all that shit. I've lived here for 15 years, and other than 2 months of Linsanity, there's been nothing. And this immediately... But people don't know about New York. It's primarily, first, a basketball town. This is a great basketball town. Second, it's a baseball town. And then third, It's a football town.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks haven't been consistently okay since, like, Sprewell. And that was when I was in high school. When Jeff Van Gundy was still a fucking coach.
Wow.
I mean, since it's been nothing but horrible shit since then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fluke they made the playoffs 2 years ago. And really, the first round of the NBA playoffs means nothing. Half the goddamn
especially in the
leagues
East.
there.
Yeah, especially in the East.
Yeah.
Be like under 500 and get in.
Yeah, they were under 500.
Yeah.
They barely made it in.
There it is. The Porzingis kid is supposed to be good, though, right?
Supposed to be.
Okay, all right.
Who knows? I mean, the Knicks will fuck it up.
Well, the beautiful thing is, it's still to go courtside is still $500,000 because a lot of rich people. Look, we're right here. It's great.
It's a shit show. Look, right there in front of us.
Here's our buddy Kyle. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Mike.
Yo.
Kyle from the Bootleg in L.A. I did sound for you.
Yo, how's it going, dude? He
What
does
up, buddy?
he does the
How
sound
are
there. He's a huge fan of Bennington, man.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, dude, I love the show, but I was so pumped that Open Mike came to the venue, dude. It was rad.
Yeah, it's a great spot out in L.A. to perform at.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to put anyone on the spot or whatever, but I think it would be awesome if the Benningtons came out to L.A. and did a show from the Bootleg. Mike, what do you think, dude?
I think that'd be fantastic.
Well, you know, here's the deal. They've every time we're going to do something in LA, there's not enough Sirius XM space in the LA studios.
Okay,
they're already busting at the seams. So we're always talking about doing whether Unmasked or whatever. But then what about the Bennington show? You know, maybe this is the thing to do.
Yeah.
Mike, or Ron, I've got a great venue out here in L.A. It's in Silver Lake, right?
It's a great neighborhood.
You know,
no, it's
right
the
in a
hipster
great
stuff
spot.
that Gail loves.
Yeah.
Fit right in.
She's a hipster.
That's
Gail, you
LA's
would love
Brooklyn.
Gotcha.
People
That's what they
understand.
always tell. Yeah.
Silver Lake and Echo Park. Those are
Yeah.
spots.
Williamsburg West.
Yeah.
It's where like the Eagles and Jackson Brown all came from and all that stuff.
And, well, let me see if, Chris, you remember a lyric from Warren Zevon, Echo Park. It's in Desperado.
I can't remember the lyric.
Yeah, well, I thought you were a big fan. You were just saying
I
yesterday.
am a big fan.
Big fans remember lyrics.
Yeah, and tell Chris, let's make this happen, dude. You're the producer of this show. I've got a great venue out here.
Dude, let me tell you something. This guy's fucking checking subway lines for how we can get there. He's a very bad producer.
Like one of the worst.
Oh, easily. I don't know a producer worse than you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know one either, dude. I don't
Why did
Thanks,
you,
Kyle.
Did you think you were good, Chris?
I didn't think I was one of the worst, like, all time. Like, there's no one worse than me.
Name someone worse.
Joey Jojo's technically under me.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains it.
Uh-oh, that's not supposed to happen.
Guess what? It's a Grammy Awards. That's what happens.
Oh my God!
That's how it happens every time.
Yeah,
you know?
it's that quick. All right, Kyle. If we
everybody
come
in New
out,
York-
we'll hook up, though.
Dude, let's do it. And hey, everybody in New York, go see Open Mike. He puts on a fucking killer show.
Thank you,
Go
man.
see him.
That was last night, though.
Well, they show up to see him in New York. Now we got to get him to show up in
yeah,
Philly.
well, anybody, anywhere that Open Mike is playing, go see him.
Much appreciated, Kyle. Thank you very much, man.
He's in Philly tonight at Kung Fu Necktie, so you can go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets.
There you go.
To the show that
And then
you will
take
go
your
to
body
tonight.
to Kung Fu Necktie, the place to see the rap show.
Matt, what's up, buddy?
Interesting note about Boomer and from Boomer and Carlson. Boomer is a diehard Ranger fan, and his daughter, his gorgeous, has been dating an Islander for the last 2 years. And Islander fans really like to point that out to him every chance they get.
How's he take it? Because he's a guy with he's got a short wick too, right?
Yeah, Islander fans love to point out that Matt Martin on the Islanders is going balls deep on his beautiful daughter every chance he gets.
That's a horrible thing.
Yeah, that's very mean.
Yeah,
You guys
that's
should be
not.
nicer to each
you know
other.
something, Matt? That's not a nice thing to
You're
say.
a bad person.
Mm-hmm. You shouldn't support that kind of behavior.
Let's go
I wouldn't say
Islanders!
I wouldn't say that, would you?
No, I would never say that.
Horrible.
Oh, that's the Boomers. Boomer Esiason?
Yeah, you don't know that?
Hate that guy.
Here's like a fun trivia fact. He once, when they were kids, he he busted his hand punching Anthony in the head.
Anthony Cumia?
Like they grew up in the same neighborhood. And his worst injury, I think, is punching Anthony in the fucking head.
Why did he punch Anthony in the head with all of his might?
Ant was always a ball buster. You know?
Guess he didn't learn that day.
Surprised it doesn't happen more. You know? I'm surprised Dice hasn't hit him yet. I'm over here now. Dice is like, do I really talk that way? Tell me the truth. The way he's saying that, do I sound like that?
No.
The Dice loves his impression. Of course, when he starts calling himself Dices. We're Dices! Very, very funny stuff. No, can't, dude. Unless you don't want to stay. He's jumping up and grabbing stuff. This is where Kevin Hart says he's off the road now. He'll never tour again.
Because of what?
Because he's a big movie star.
Then I guess, yeah. Well, nice for him.
He also says he's never going to clean his own pool.
Just going to give you a list of things I don't have to do anymore.
The only person I know that ever made a stand like that was Chris Stanley when you gave up paying taxes.
Yeah, I don't do it.
How many years?
7 years.
Are you kidding?
I don't pay it.
I really don't know if you should be saying
I went to our payroll
disturbing.
department and said, listen, don't take the taxes out. I'll take care of it. But I just never took care of it.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. We have been telling him for 7 years that it won't, so he says to me, what'd I tell you? They don't care. I go, look, the IRS isn't going anywhere. They don't have, we've got to catch you today. They literally have 7 years that they're allowed to go back. 7 years, your exact time.
Well, once I get through this year, I'm good.
No, that's not
when I make year
It'll
8.
still be the last 7.
I'm clean.
And if they take any of these tapes, they're really going to go after you. Because you're basically telling other people to follow you down this route.
Yeah, you're saying, look at me.
I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I'm just saying what I do, right? The Chris Stanley method.
Why don't you not do that, though?
You get like double the cash, though. When you say
right
you're going to pay the...
You do get a lot more cash.
It's a coin.
I mean, you want to spend, right? You want to spend. You want to fucking spend to make yourself feel good.
I've never seen you do that, by the way. I've never seen you do anything but give your money to a fucking bookie or a dealer.
But don't live like me. Just, listen to what I'm telling you.
Pretty sure you shouldn't be saying it. Or doing it.
Yeah.
But especially saying
you gotta
it.
admire him. You know what I mean? You gotta admire him.
Living like an outlaw.
You are living your own way. You're a libertarian.
Chris.
Yeah.
High-profile celebrities go to jail for that shit.
Let them go. Take it.
All the
Most of
time.
the people you went to college with went to jail for this, right?
Yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Chris is like, nobody's gonna Wesley Snipe me.
I think
It's less than likely.
Mace the Rapper did some time for that.
Mace.
You went to SUNY Purchase?
Wait, I didn't know that.
Mace the Rapper is a SUNY Purchase guy way back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mace the Rapper.
You're
Is
a
that
gigantic
true?
Mace fan
Loved
when you were a
Mace.
kid.
Yeah, Mace is the shit.
Do your impression.
Mace Gumble.
That's all she had. She would be a little kid doing that all the time.
Oh, I wish you guys could have seen the face, man.
Mace was the starting point guard for the SUNY Purchase Panthers basketball team.
As slow as
What
he
a talented
talks,
guy.
I know.
I can't imagine I want him as
slowest
my
rapper
point
there
guard.
is.
I mean, they weren't like a Division I or anything, but he was on the basketball team.
Dude, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Is he still preaching? What's he doing now?
Yeah, he's still preaching. He's rapping. He's having a good time.
Wow.
You act like you stay in contact.
Yeah, like you just said it like you went to school with him.
Well, he's great. He's lost weight.
Yeah, he's doing good. He got a new girl. He's doing great.
He's fine. He's living uptown. He's looking good.
I cannot picture him as a point guard, though.
He was able to pull it off in college.
What was the fucking constantly slowing the ball down, slowing the game down?
That was his game, you know?
Bring it in slow.
They win 7-5.
Just a shot clock constantly. Oh, there's a turnover.
You look good, Mace.
All right, that doesn't make sense to scream that out.
If I was in the stands, I would have yelled that.
Don't waste your time. Oh, there's a picture of him. That's great.
Yeah, look, there he is. Looks just like he did in college.
All right, stop it. I can't wait till you go to jail. It makes my life so much easier.
So soon. It's so soon, too.
Yeah. If you go to jail, I'm just going to keep sending you knives and pills. So here are the knives and pills. No, and I'll be like, this is the knife you want to stab the guard with.
Don't. I don't know who's sending me this.
Now you're worried. You're not worried about taking on the IRS.
They got bigger fish to fry. Not
Bigger fish. And guess what? Sometimes they don't mind frying small fish.
Small fish. They want a nice big fish.
But the thing is, small fish like yourself, do not fight them.
No.
So it's easy. It's a slam dunk.
God damn it.
Listen, my friend, prisons are filled with small fish.
That is true.
Did they yell out fresh fish?
Yeah.
People get brought in there? And then what
He
they
will. Fucking thick-tongued bitch that he is.
Oh, finally, there's another new crap of fish coming in.
You know what? I seriously, if we get
crap of fish.
Crap of fish.
Here's what we got to do.
What's that?
Let's get a scale and weigh your tongue. Because I bet it's fucking 10, 12 pounds thick. It's like a meatloaf you're laying out there.
It's terrible. It's my cross the bear, you know?
Huh?
You know, like it's thick tongue.
Yeah, but why would you say cross? Like Jesus?
No, it's like, it's like
You're gonna compare
metaphor.
that?
It's a metaphor, right?
For what? What is the metaphor?
Like he had to fucking carry a cross around, and that's a pain in the ass. And I got this fucking thick tongue.
So hold on. One day he carried it. Yeah. Not like he was carrying it every day.
I know, but that one time was awful. Heavy.
You know so little about so much. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And this is why we're not going to bootleg. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear to have you come out and yell, "It's fresh fish."
Really want to go to Echo Park.
Please don't embarrass me, my new friends in Silver Lake.
I would, I'd like to see Chris go to Silver Lake and just fucking drown himself. Because you don't swim.
No, I don't. No, it would be terrible. I'd be flailing and then, slowly drown. Probably quickly.
I got a feeling that you'd bob for a while.
No, that tongue would drag it right down to the bottom.
Hey, keep your tongue in. Roll that tongue in, whatever you do. That's like you drop an anchor.
We've got Open Mike Eagle in studio with us. His new album, Hella Personal Film Festival. It's available now on iTunes and Amazon. Go check him out tonight in Philly at Kung Fu Necktie. Go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets.
Thank you.
You know, Mike comes in hungover, tired, in between shows, but he makes it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He makes it.
He does.
Now, we're doing Opie's show tomorrow. The last two Opie shows, Chris showed up an hour late for one. Gail showed up an hour late for the other.
Yep.
Now,
but I just want to say that I was not hungover. I just want to say.
Neither was I.
Okay. Why'd you look it and smell it?
I was not hungover for that show. I was just fucking having bad sleep. It was not.
Then answer Gail's question. Why did you look it and smell it?
It's a natural state for me.
That isn't true. That's just not true that you would smell like alcohol for no reason.
It's probably the Listerine or something. I don't know.
This is the way I smell. By the way, there was a bunch of people going into Sway's studio when I walked by. That smelled fantastic.
Really?
Normally, if I smell men's cologne, I despise it.
Yeah.
But I almost wanted to turn around and say, "Excuse me, what is that smell?" But I have never done that before to another man. I would never say.
Never done that.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think any man has ever said, "That smells fantastic. What is it?" to another man.
That was ASAP Ferg and his people, man. They're a fashionable bunch, so they probably have the best smells.
Yeah, I mean, their smell was out of this world.
Yeah. It's part of that ASAP mob.
Is Mason in that mob?
No. He quite predates all of that.
Good cologne on this dude, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it smelled less like a cologne and more like a beautiful light perfume. Like cologne is normally so thick and heavy and disgusting. And this is a smell that you would just love to smell anytime in your life.
Nice. You know it's a good cologne? Jeffrey Gurian.
Really?
It's a very nice scent.
That's his skin rotting.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
You are smelling the sweetness of a rotted peach.
Is that what the fruit flies were?
Yeah.
How's Gurion doing?
He's doing okay. Didn't he call this? He called this week.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing a lot of stand-up more than reporting on stand-up now. Yeah.
He's got a lot of shows coming up.
He's crossed the line, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Well,
he's going native, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
This is he's up the river now. You know, he's gotten off the boat. Let's go to Travis in Los Angeles, home of the Doors. Hey, Travis.
Hey,
buddy.
You don't need to be fucking with the IRS, man. I had my girlfriend do my tax returns one year, and she put in an extra 0 for my mileage, and it was like 4 years later, they came after me and audited me. Dude, it is the most intrusive thing I've ever been through in my life.
Yeah, I don't have that problem because I'm not filling out any zeros.
Oh, boy.
Dude, I mean, I'm just telling you, though, they will come after you. And this lady had, like, awards in her fucking cubicle about how she got money back from people.
Okay. Well, she's probably be retired by the time she gets to me, if they even.
No, man, she was her early 30s, man. You could look forward to her.
Well, I hope Award Girl has a great time. She ain't gonna get nothing out of me. Ain't gonna get a goddamn.
What goes well for you, man?
How do you get something out of somebody's got nothing?
Here's the thing. This is the way that he's treated his college loan. He's never given them $1.
I'm also in that boat,
yeah.
but
this,
Thank you.
but so
Thank you, Mike.
he thinks
I'm not
because he
proud, okay?
could get away with it, that he can get away with it with the IRS.
Well, yeah.
It's not the same.
But let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
If you had trouble with the IRS or the Gambino crime family, you're better off with the Gambino crime family.
Well, I would never have any problems with the Gambino crime family.
God, he's so stupid. I'm trying to point out to you. The IRS is worse than having problems with the Gambinos.
I've heard that they're, they do their job very well.
Why do you not care?
Well, fucking been good for 7 years so far.
By the way, I want to point out to the Gambinos that Chris refers to Italians as spaghetti fuckers.
What?
Yeah, he says that they put their penises in the spaghetti and they keep.
They're not
going to
like that, Chris.
Yeah, that's not a nice thing to say, Chris. You shouldn't
I
say
don't
that.
remember saying that. I mean, I could see how someone could fuck some spaghetti, though.
Well, you said that.
Fuck?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like I felt your excitement.
I know. It just rolled off his tongue, too.
He just really
Just
enjoyed
rolled
it.
off his tongue. Why don't you just call the IRS, tell them there's been a mistake for the last 7?
Just say sorry.
Yeah.
And give them everything
Start
you
a
got.
payment plan.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad? Like, hey, my bad.
Just say you didn't know it applied to you.
Or you'll go to jail.
I'm not going to apologize
Can I tell you,
for my personal philosophy.
jail would be a step up from his apartment.
Cleaner.
Warmer, probably.
Yeah. It would be the first time he slept off the floor.
Wow, there's legs on this. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, they fix windows in jail.
Yeah, perfect.
You know?
You're not just sleeping on a pile of coats in the corner.
But just as much toilet wine, which is weird. Same amount of toilet wine is in your home.
Delicious.
The grossness when you brought up toilet wine yesterday.
So what's wrong with toilet wine? I mean,
It's
it's
piss.
alcohol.
It's piss and shit.
It's fermented. It's fermented. That kills the bad stuff.
Janice, we haven't talked to you in forever. Hi, darling.
Hi. Chris, I don't mean to be like motherly, but
So-
you do know that the thing that finally brought Al Capone down was the IRS.
Yeah, but he lived high in the hog for a while, though. I mean, that guy did very well for himself.
The moral there is also to get your syphilis treated, Chris.
Why?
See?
Oh, wait.
It's just no getting through to you.
All right, I'm being told that Ant broke his hand on Boomer's head.
Oh.
I'd always heard it the other way around.
Interesting.
And then Anthony called him Norman instead of Boomer. Oh, fuck. So this guy says Cabby went to prison for a year after saying that on K-Rock. I forgot all about Cabby. Remember him? He used to hang around K-Rock when we were working there? God, I don't know how that slipped my mind.
For you. Janice, I was just thinking of you today because we haven't heard you in so long.
Oh, well, I try to keep my... I know I'm a pain in the ass.
No.
Janice.
Don't say that.
How could you say that, Janice?
Janice, your voice is like a hug on the radio.
It really is.
It is. Yeah.
That laugh. You could just bottle it,
ever.
sell it.
Hey, open mic, is it true that they could smell edibles?
I don't know. I just didn't want to take the chance.
Holy
Smart.
shit.
Yeah, man. So I just overdosed myself and got on an airplane like anybody would do in that situation.
It seems like a good idea.
Yeah, no, it really was not. It hurt.
I definitely would have left the airport once I ate it. I'm like, I'm just going to take a few days for myself.
No, I was
And then
just
also
sweating and
you eat
writhing.
their whole supply.
Yeah, no, it was dumb. It was real dumb. Yeah. I learned a lot about what not to do again that day.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Every day's a learning line.
Yeah, how do we know where the line is until we cross it? Am I right, folks? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm always saying.
You are the line, Chris.
Oh.
I'm going to ask Trump to build a wall around you. Cruz just said the Trump camp is acting like union boss thugs. What's that even mean?
He's just making shit up.
When is this shit going to be over with?
I know.
God damn it, I hate it.
I was so excited when you said New York was this week, and then it was wrong. And I was like, I just want to get this over with.
Okay, I made a mistake. Yeah, okay.
Was that so embarrassing for you when you said that?
I know. I'd already forgotten about it, though. I dropped it.
I haven't.
And is it terrible in a swing state? We used to go to Florida every October, and it was like, oh my God, it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
No
Florida
wonder
down there,
people
it's
say,
like,
fuck you and don't want to vote.
oh yeah, Florida's like there's a horse shortage going on in the state. That's how frothy they get, and there's so many guys running. There's so many guys running when they're in Florida. They're in, you know. There was still like 12 down there. And now we're down to 3, well, really 2.5. I just don't care.
Yeah, it's done, man. I'm tired. And this is like if the week before the Super Bowl was 2 fucking years long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day, 24-hour media coverage. Don't fucking care.
Well, I'm a super delegate, so I got to pay attention.
Okay. Yeah. Which way you leaning in?
Where's the money? Somebody give Daddy a little something to nibble on. That's what I say. I'm right up front about it. But, you know, they are flying those guys around and buying them shit like there's no rules that you can't just fucking get massages for fucking delegates. It doesn't matter.
NCAA has
apparently,
yeah, it's true.
Like apparently Clinton knows how to work it better.
Well, the Clintons have been around a long time.
Yeah, Bernie ain't got no money, man. All Bernie can do is send you like a bunch of college students to help clean your apartment. Right. He's got no resources.
Boy, those college students love him, though, don't they?
They do. They really do. The youngsters, they're behind Bernie.
Well, you know what? They weren't even here for hope. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is their hope.
This is the hope that they get.
So good. Go out and enjoy yourself, and then you'll find out the fucking truth. There's no way they're giving that to that old Jew. I'm sorry. They're not going to let him have it. All right, Janice, I got to get going, honey.
I love all of you. Thank you.
Oh, we love you, Janice.
I love you, Janice.
Open Mike Eagle's new album, Hella Personal Film, is available now on iTunes and Amazon. Check it out because it's phenomenal.
Thank you.
And go see him tonight in Philly at the Kung Fu Necktie. Go to kungfunecktie.com for tickets.
Thank you.
Hey, you know I recommended you to?
Who's that?
To the guy who runs Comedy Bang Bang. And he's like, oh, that is a good idea.
Ackerman? Scott Ackerman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
Because
he knows me.
Yeah. Because he's like, it's so hard to find somebody who can do comedy and music. I go, I got a guy.
I know the guy.
I'll tell you a story off air.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
I gotta go get that.
See you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!